I love how you dove for the turkey at the last moment. Well, hello, all you cool cats and kittens. I don't know what that was about. Welcome to Reconnected. It is
That's because I
Thursday
posted
again.
it on my Instagram advertising the show.
Did you really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
assumed you read that and maybe it got implanted in your
It
brain.
may have because I didn't even register that it was there. What's going on, everybody? I'm excited to be here because one of the cool things that I realized is psychologically, I've clued myself into realizing that this show is the start of my weekend because I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So it's just happy times. There's no more actual work.
Yay! I still gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's you.
Sir Turkey McStuffins just wanted to make sure everybody had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a busy week. Obviously, you were here on Thanksgiving. Nice to have you back so quickly.
Thank you. It's great to be back so quickly and $500 poorer.
Yeah, Severin will do that to you.
Now that
Carrie
I can
Mulligan
chat in the
says
text, I've been doing that.
Peacock reports a record number of free trial cancellations just 7 days after Freddy's release. Gotta love that. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Now that Stan is here, I want to be able to say something. Stan just passed a message on to me, and you're going to appreciate this because you know him and are a fan
I
of
love
his.
Stan.
Not Stan. Hold on. Stan just sent me a message a little while ago saying that our old friend Adam Rifkin followed him on Twitter today, and then sent Stan a message to say that he bought the latest issue of the Physical Media Advocate because Stan wrote about Adam Rifkin in it.
What? That's amazing. We got to get Adam on the show.
Pretty damn cool.
Between Stan and I'm sure we can get him on the show.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And he was on Just the Disc fairly recently, too. So it wouldn't be out of his realm all that far.
Hi, Paul.
So what else is going on with you this last week since the sales?
I've been selling certain organs to make up for the money I spent during Black Friday.
Yes.
I have...
I still can't believe you found somebody to buy your left leg. That's weird.
Yeah. It's been a little rough getting around on, with crutches, but it's worth it to have that snow globe from Cemetery Man. And I don't know, not too much. I guess it really only has been about a week, huh?
Literally a week, yeah.
I went to last night. I went to an advanced industry screening of Mr. Monk: The Final Case, the Monk movie. The first time we're revisiting that character since the show ended in 2009, which I found it hard to believe that it had been that long when they mentioned it during the Q&A. But if you're a Monk fan out there, highly recommend it. Comes out on Peacock December 8th, although apparently there's been a record number of Peacock deletions since. But maybe you want to resubscribe and watch Monk. I liked it a lot as a big Monk fan, and I got to chat with Tony Shalhoub, who's one of my top 5 favorite actors. So that was fun.
Well, we mentioned Peacock and we mentioned Freddy's. It would be, interesting to talk for a moment about how crazy it is that Five Nights at Freddy's was such a massive opening for Blumhouse, for Universal, whatever, and it was a film that was day and date streaming as well. And for a long time, the studios were saying we can't do both at the same time because it won't make money. We kind of just proved that if the movie is appealing to certain people, you can still make money in the theaters.
Oh, yeah. Big time. And that if it's a bomb, it's going to be a bomb whether it's in theaters or on streaming.
Exactly.
No matter what. The same effect will happen no matter what.
Craig is posting in the comments, before I forget, I pre-ordered Shout's Silver Bullet, and it came with the poster. I have nowhere to put it. Anybody want it? I will send it off to anyone.
Yeah, send it off to some cool people, and then never order from Shout again.
let's not endorse that necessarily on this channel. But speaking of sending things off to people, I'm going to be talking about this in a little while. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Kill Butterfly Kill from Neon
Oh, hell
Eagle
yeah.
Video. If anybody's into this, we'll talk about this during the show tonight. And then some other things came in for review, I guess, or just to take a look at so we could talk about them. Mary Pickford came in from VCI via MVD. I've never seen this, but it's a VCI release, so I'm very curious to nitpick the quality. The other title from VCI is Appleseed. This one I had not heard of, but some of the cast in this, Clint Howard, I did not expect to see that name on this, so very curious to check this out. I know you're at work and not at home, but any recent pickups come in that you want to highlight or you're excited about?
Remember that time I was on your show from work and somebody called me a scab in the comments?
Oh yeah, I was there. Yeah,
good times.
Yeah, really great stuff.
Oh, I agree with Tony. Stan, Tony Shalhoub is a genius. Well, my Eagle titles came in as well, but I guess that was more last week. You're just talking about this past week. I didn't get anything.
Highlight.
Well, I'll highlight those two Neon Eagle titles, Kill Butterfly Kill and Red Woman Red Handcuffs. What is that one called?
Red Woman Red Handcuffs.
What's it called? Gosh. There's a collar and then there's handcuffs.
I want you just to keep trying, just so I can see if you can get there.
I also got Ratman. And then
and those aren't both Neon Eagle. It's important to say Ratman is Cauldron.
Well, yeah.
Zero Woman Red Handcuffs is Neon Eagle Video.
I was so close. I knew there was a number in there somewhere. But Neon Eagle's a sub label from Cauldron, correct?
In a way, Cauldron does the distribution for them, but it is Jesse and Brian from Cauldron working with Jared from Mondo Macabro.
Oh, okay. And I got the CD Trader, my favorite store here, movie shop here in Southern California that a lot of you heard me talk about many times. They were having a little Black Friday sale the day after our last show. And so I picked up a bunch of cool things there, including Raw Force from Vinegar Syndrome with Slip. Very coveted, that I've been looking for a while. I got some other cool. Oh, I got all three Martin Scorsese World Cinema box sets from Criterion that were probably, really the best price that I'll probably ever find them at. They were already pretty heavily discounted as is at CD Trader because they tend to have good prices, and then with their 20% off Black Friday sale, it was kind of a win-win. So I grabbed all three. Although now number 4 is number 4 out, or is it coming out?
Number 4 came out, I believe, last year.
Okay, so I have to pick up that one then.
But yeah, you got them all cheaper than the Barnes and Noble price, but also 20% off on top of that. So you got you got like steals on those. I mean, you were messaging me, "Are these a good price?" And I said, "If you don't leave with those, you're an idiot." Type of message.
Yeah, the sticker price was already cheaper than the Barnes and Noble sale, and then 20% off that. So it was kind of a no-brainer. So I took advantage of their Black Friday sale and supported my local favorite shop after spending $500 at Severn. What can you do?
Recover. That's what we all need to do at this point. Stan says, eagerly awaiting my 4K of Existenz, and I think that is the perfect cue to get into this week's announcements. What do you say?
Oh, I'm stoked. But first, how was your Thanksgiving?
Well, we talked about this last week because it was on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was good. I'm less full now, and that's the good thing.
Yeah, I'm stopped.
So let's get into this. Titles from last week. We did talk about these on the live show, but now that it's been a week and everything is sunk in a little bit, we're going to do just a quick highlight of some of these and go over what was announced during Black Friday after the sale went live, since we didn't cover these in the announcement show last week. The first, of course, is that one of the mystery titles from Vinegar Syndrome was Existenz on 4K. It appears it's coming in a hard box with a slip on the inside of that, and it looks like a pretty dang solid release. We've got some commentaries on here.
A flesh
3 of them.
covered.
Oh yeah, that's right. Flesh
Don't forget.
textured slipcover.
Yeah.
Ronnie didn't get anything in the VS sale. Bought more Criterion. Man, there's a couple Criterion I still want, and I have not picked up. Existenz has some new interviews, but it's got 3 archival commentaries and a new commentary, so there is a lot on this, plus a 40-page perfect bound book. And one of the people that wrote on it is Justin the Liberty of Vinegar Syndrome, who is a big fan of this movie. This is like one of his favorite films of all time, so I'm sure it was something that he's wanted to write on for a long time. What about you, Existenz? Or was this one that you're like super excited about? I don't think we've ever really talked about Cronenberg in depth before together.
No, you and I haven't, not on this show at least. I'm excited for it. I love the movie. I think it's a big get for Vinegar Syndrome.
It is,
and definitely one of my favorite Cronenbergs. I get to replace my shitty DVD copy of it in my personal collection. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to feeling the flesh texture.
It's such a gross way to word that, but it's also really exciting for what it is. So yeah, I'm very eager to see this. And then I guess we should kind of highlight too, it is Thursday after the Black Friday sale that was over Monday night and then technically got extended 12 hours into Tuesday for some people. And people are already getting shipping announcements. People got shipping notifications. People got those starting yesterday. Like these packages are already going out from VS, which fastest I've heard of it in a long time. I've not got mine.
You were one of the people that got the extra 12 hours though, right?
I did, and I did not get anything during that time.
Not even the exclusive shirt?
No, I didn't want. I've got way too many shirts.
I was very tempted, but I didn't either. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't even get a $50 worth to get the $10 coupon, and I probably should have.
Yeah, free money.
Basically. Dustin says they should do a matching Crash release that's wound textured. Oh,
I'm sure that's right around the corner, wouldn't you say? They had a 4K restoration of Crash at Beyond Fest this year.
Well, 4K of Crash was released by Aralo, and I almost expect Crash might go to Criterion.
That's a good point. I remember Arrow. I meant Region A, but yeah, Criterion I guess would be maybe more likely than.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they got it. Dang, Hoax got my package today. Still waiting for the sign though. Jeez.
You got your package already in less than a week?
You must live like 2 blocks away from the archive.
Do you work for Vinegar Syndrome?
USPS took it off their truck after they put it on and said, "Here you go, sir." Yeah, and Existenz did sell very well. I think you and I were talking, or no, I was talking to Brian, a friend of the show, about this. And he was surprised that they'd sold out 2/3 of Existenz on Sunday. But yeah, if they are already down to 1,722 out of 10,000, that is mighty impressive.
Did you see that Severin Black Mass bundle did finally sell out?
Yeah, it took a good almost 24 hours, which it's kind of surprising that it took that long, but it's also not surprising.
Yeah, real mixed feelings, but I'm glad it at least sold out over the weekend of the sale. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have felt real bad about the trigger that I pulled.
Let's go to the next title. The other mystery title was The Black Room from 1981. There are lots of people that are super excited about this title, and I must admit, I am very much like others. I had never heard of this one, but after reading on it and how many people have been affected by this, I'm certainly into it. This one sounds really fun.
I know nothing about it, and I did not hear how people were affected by it, but I love the cover.
Yes, it's pretty good.
As a subscriber, it's going to show up on my doorstep, so I look forward to watching it.
Yeah, and good point from Ronnie. Don't forget 16 partner label announcements tomorrow. And if I'm remembering right, we should be getting 2 new partner labels for the first time, IFC, and I believe the other one is Art Label, which is ran by one of the individuals that used to be at Culture Shock Releasing.
Wow. I don't know if I have the stamina, bandwidth, or wallet room to worry about 16 partner labels tomorrow. Holy cow.
Dallas says, it didn't really sell out truther. Let's dive into that a little bit. Send another comment. Are you saying that it didn't sell 80? What is the number? 8,278. You think they fudged those numbers at Vinegar Syndrome?
I think he's talking about the Severn bundle.
Got it. The Severn bundle, they didn't sell 100 bundles at $50 or $500. I mean, that's a good $50,000 right there. To be fair, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I get that. I do think Severn is fairly transparent about that. I wouldn't think Severn would lie about that.
It also would be silly to market as sold out if it actually wasn't before the end of the weekend and not have people be able to buy it.
Especially if it's something for $500.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to just turn off on incoming. Next up, Untold Story 2 is one of the VSAs that they announced from this weekend, and this one looks incredible. We talked about this last week. It's got a commentary track with Sam Deegan, and it's got nothing else. So I'm very curious to see this film. I wish it had a little bit more on it, but
honestly, even better artwork than The Black Room.
Yeah. I had to look at the back to remember, but yeah.
I like the style of it.
Yeah, I do too. Key-Ray says, Cat 3 goodness. Yeah, give me all of those Cat 3 titles, please. If you're subscribed to the newsletter for Deaf Crocodile, they're announcing 2 new titles tomorrow, along with that new title pre-sale. So you'll hear about 3 brand new titles tomorrow from DC. Make sure you subscribe there. Oh, that's great. Going to the next VSA, which is A Gun for Jennifer, which, speaking of art over the last couple titles, this is one that everybody on the internet seems to be very upset about the cover art on.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't think it's amazing, but I don't see anything that would make me complain vocally necessarily.
It's the weakest art of the 3.
Oh, by far, yeah. Decent looking extras on this one though, and it is a VSA, and they don't always get a lot of extras, so I'll be pretty happy about that. Yeah, VSAs are an odd bunch. But after that, we also got a brand new label from Vinegar Syndrome, which is DeGosser Video, and they are releasing Redneck Zombies on Blu-ray. Here is the slipcover art on this one, which looks pretty rad. On this, we've got a whole bunch of extras, including a new critical commentary track with James Branscombe and Nick Vance of the Cinematic Void podcast, and then an alternate 20th anniversary edit of Redneck Zombies. And, making of documentary that was never finished. 83-minute making of documentary from this year with interviews with the cast and crew, which is pretty dang cool. And then an in memoriam section, bunch of trailers, and all that other fun stuff. This looks like a solid release. Anthony wants to know, Jeremy, what are you eating?
I haven't eaten all day, and because I didn't get the chance to get home before jumping on the show, and I'm doing it from the production office, I'm having some white cheddar popcorn.
Nice.
And some Reese's cups. I gotta stay awake, y'all.
Was that Skinny Pop popcorn?
It was Skinny Pop popcorn.
You know, hopefully you could eat the bun if you wanted. I had to make a Bottoms reference while you're here. Come on.
No, I like them. Yeah, Bottoms, one of the best movies of the year. But hopefully, maybe you can get some advertising dollars from Skinny Pop.
Probably not. Not a sponsor, but if they want to be, my wallet is open.
That's what I'm trying to do. Nothing like a cool, refreshing Pepsi Cola when you are trying to stay awake for a 3-hour live stream.
At least 3 hours. I love this. Brent said this last week. Redneck Zombies came out on Blu-ray for almost $30, and Brent said, I picked up the DVD from MVD for 99 cents because it's not going to look any better. It's a tape master.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you don't get this cool artwork on the cover.
And that's obviously worth $29.
And the cardboard slip. Don't forget about that.
That cardboard is gold for some of these people. They also announced these really interesting light-up VHS releases for their DeGosser titles. They put out Redneck Zombies VHS and a Rad VHS to celebrate the launch of the line. And they're cool looking, but they were also $60 looking. That's a lot of cheese for a VHS release in 2023.
Especially after you just spent $500 over at Severin.
So wait, you did not buy these?
I did not. They do look really cool. If I would have gotten either of them, it would have been the Redneck Zombies. But you know, I mean, I have a lot of knickknacks and collectibles and things, but I was like, well, these would honestly just sit on my shelf, and I would never actually watch it on VHS, especially with the Blu-ray copy. So,
Brian Sauer from Just the Disc says, "Hey, that's Jeremy Long. I can officially say I've met him in person
at the grand reopening of the Egyptian Theater, where they screened The Killer with a Q&A with David Fincher, which was a lot of fun. I unknowingly sat next to him.
Oh, nice. I don't think you told me about that.
And he introduced himself after the movie and Q&A were over. And yeah, once again, I get recognized from this show and not anything else.
Wait, you're a comedian?
Wait, are you that guy from that one episode of America Says?
I think I saw you in the background of Mom for just a second, right?
Pretty sure I saw you in the stadium seats of the football stadium scene of The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, no, that couldn't have been you. That was obviously Dave Grohl.
Can you imagine Dave Grohl being in the background of some movie and not getting credited, and it's just like an Easter egg? Like, can you spot him? Or literally any celebrity.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
That's an inside joke. Jeremy is from the Scream Factory group on Facebook, and many times he has gone into the group and made a post that says "Happy birthday" to our admin Ryan, and he gets like 50 people to say happy birthday, and I have to come in and say it's not my birthday. It's like March 12th. Come on.
That's my birthday. You knowingly just say my birthday?
Again, subconscious, I believe. All right. Next up was the catalog slipcovers for Angel, which they do look pretty great. But likewise, they only look great when you put them next to each other. And is anybody going to display these, all three titles, next to each other somewhere?
I ordered them, and I will. Maybe for at least a couple weeks or something, and then I'll put them back on the shelf.
Yeah, that's probably true. I've seen your setup. Craig says, "I love that Ryan's mic has horns tonight." I will get.
Oh, good point.
Let's see. Next up, they also put out an LED sign, now playing sign, Redneck Zombies pin with liquid in it, a whole bunch of shirts. They kind of went all out on merch this time.
If you bought that LED sign in the chat, please let us know. I'd love to know if anybody who's watching bought it.
I think Hoax was saying he was waiting for a sign to come in. He got his order, just not the sign.
Oh, that's right. He did say
that. Yeah, so I mean they sold out. A lot of people, I think it was 150 it was limited to, or was that was the price? Was it I don't remember the limit at this point.
No, it was 150. I think it was 150.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the price was, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, it's 2 feet by 3 feet. That's a pretty nice size for that.
No, it's a badass sign that I would honestly have gotten if I knew where the hell I'd put it in my apartment.
Yeah. I mean,
if I didn't just buy that Severin bundle, those are
I guarantee you within a month, 2 or 3 YouTubers are going to have that in the background. Just be like,
yeah,
yep.
For sure.
Don't worry, Hoax. We are genuinely jealous. Nobody's making fun of you.
Oh, I'm stoked for you, Hoax. Yeah, you're talking to the guy who bought the Black Mass bundle. I'm not giving you any shit for buying a sign.
Not to
Don't
mention,
worry.
last time on this channel, you spent 45 minutes debating a Ninja Star, decided
Correct.
no, and then 45 minutes later started questioning it.
Yes, that's all accurate. So no one's making fun of you, Hoax.
What's going on, Neil? Next up, after that, we went to the Melusine site, and part of the Quality X line, they were putting out Deep Inside Annie Sprinkle, and not a ton of stuff on this disc, but it looks like an interesting release. The back of the slipcover is interesting.
I really hope they show this at the New Bev.
You remember that circle that Celeste told us to go take a look at last time?
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. It's my new screensaver.
Did you say new or nude? Because yes.
Both.
Going to the next one. We had found out that Aralo released Twilight. This is
We found that out live on air, didn't we?
Yeah, and this slip looks great. Art on this looks amazing. It's coming with this poster on the inside. This is Twilight from 1990, and it is a brand new 4K restoration done from the original 35 millimeter camera negative by the National Film Institute from the Hungarian Film Archive and Film Lab. And they've got a 12-page booklet on this with a new essay. And that's about
it. I pre-ordered it.
We got some short films. I need to pre-order it. Aralo is kind of always amazing.
Yeah, I've been really liking their stuff. I mean, obviously they don't have too many releases yet, but I went ahead and put in a pre-order of this and their other new title.
Yeah.
After our stream last week.
Sardis says I ordered 2 from them and already got shipping notice. Nice. Hoax forgot about the porn, the sale, forgot they separated it. Yeah, that's still kind of frustrating. Is the poster a side exclusive for Twilight? Yes, it is.
As well as the slip.
As well as the slip, which is one of their fancy envelope style slips.
Yeah.
John Peters says real men bought the Black Emmanuel calendar. Jeremy's got one of those coming.
Technically, and I don't even want it. It was like the only thing in the bundle. I was like, don't need this.
You can frame it. Next one. This came out of nowhere on Friday. Second Sight announced that Inside from 2007, the French Extremity film, is coming on February 5th.
Very excited.
Yeah, this is a wonderful, wonderful surprise. They have 2 new audio commentaries, one by Anna Bogatskaya, sorry, said that last name wrong, and it's probably still wrong. One by Elena Lazik, new interview with the co-writer and directors Alexander Bustillo and Julian Maury. New interview with the actor Alison Paradis. New interview with the producer. New interview with the cinematographer. New interview with the stunt coordinator. We got Rigid Slipcase with a 70-page book with new essays by Chad Collins, Kat Ellinger, Annie Rose Malamet, and Hannah Strong. Inside, how do you feel about this film?
Love it. This and one other release that I'm sure we'll get to here towards the end are my 2 favorite announcements of the month.
I know which one you're talking about, and yes, we will absolutely get to it.
Obviously, Second Sight's probably my favorite label. Actually, I think their releases are amazing in general, like individually, but their catalog is just through the roof. Like everything they put out is like, yes, give it to me now types of movies in my book for me personally. And they've been on a French Extremity kick recently. This High Tension. What was the other one? There's one I'm forgetting.
Frontiers.
Yes. So
I would hope that if they're going to go this deep, I would love to see a Second Sight release of Martyrs. I know Umbrella put it out. I don't have the giant Umbrella box. I would love to have a big, especially if they could do a really nice 4K of Martyrs, because I think it's deserving of
if they could do a really nice 4K of Martyrs and do it like a drive box or like frickin' The Guest. You know, one of those really big releases. That'd be
The
amazing.
Thick Boys.
Yeah, the Thick Boys.
I would also I don't think we've talked about this one. Have you seen the French extremity film Them or Ills?
I have not.
It is a wonderful one, and I would hope that they would be able to do that one too. I think people should check that one out if you've never seen it. It is a home invasion story that is done
Mhm.
really well, and it's this crazy layout of a house, and they are working on half of it. So it's one of those creepy setups where there's like sheets hanging for like fake hallways, where they're like trying to corner off for dust and all that, and it makes for some really like provocative lighting and in these scenes that where you are trying to think around the corner there's going to be nothing here, but when you come it's creepy because everything looks the same. Great film. Really really creepy setup, nice twist in that movie. Yeah.
I hope so too. That sounds amazing. I've never seen it. I would love. I mean, a lot of these French extremity films don't have really good releases. You know what I mean?
True.
Including Inside. So if they could just if they do want to keep going down that route and give us some really good, not just quality releases in terms of the film itself, but the box and bonus content and everything else like that, like this release here, that'd be great. I say keep going.
Oh man, I'm getting a lot of love for the Ills tonight. That's good. That is wonderful. Uh, yeah, this is an exciting release for me. Um, I think it was Sibner that asked, was there another Blu-ray release of this in the past? Because there's no notes on the transfer. I will say that is one thing that I've noticed about some labels lately is there's no notes. Like Imprint never says anything about the transfer. Second Sight doesn't always say stuff about the transfer. Most of the time they don't. I really wish they would. I wish they all would.
Yeah, I agree. DC also mentioned that the news we found out just this morning, I believe, that High
Yes.
Tension is delayed until January.
True, true. And oh, I'm sorry, Ronnie. I am very much not French. You don't pronounce the S in the word ill, I assume then.
Copy.
I should probably learn how to say that before I speak it in front of many, many people. Yes, I agree with Paul. I feel like if they have something notable and new, like a new 4K scan, they will mention it. However, some people like if you want to make an informed decision about buying, the best way to do that is by having the most information possible. So yes, on some of these releases, it might have the same transfer and somebody might still be pushed over the edge because of a new commentary for somebody they like, or it's their favorite film and they want to say, well, if it looks different at all, I still want to pick it up. So it would just be nice to know, how does it compare to my previous copy? And it's nice, like when Kino comes out and says, this is
Mhm.
from the 2015 scan of this film from Paramount. Okay, it's 8 years old, and I can still choose. Is this going to get another release soon with the new restoration? Honestly, probably not. I could probably pick this title up, whatever it is, in this make-believe title that I just made up in my mind. So yeah, more information is always better. Let's see. Just be like Scream Factory and announce the extras days before the release. Please don't do that. Nobody be like Scream Factory in that regard. Then we got some Arrow announcements, and boy, were people making fun of Arrow on Friday. People a little bit left down. This one is a fairly light month from them. The first thing is we're getting Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978 on 4K from Arrow. Surprise from no one. This is one that they were definitely going to be doing. It's coming out on 4K and Blu-ray on February 12th in the UK, and this is going to have a lot of the same special features from previous releases. It's also going to have 6 postcard-sized art cards, double-sided fold-out poster, all of that fun stuff. But the big thing is this will likely fix some of the audio issues that were in the Kino Lorber release of this. So make sure if you have the Kino one and you want the best release of this, you actually might want this release because the Kino one has some audio dropouts. Bradley Pooper is the other big news. The release date of The Marvels on DVD with 2 6-minute featurettes. No, I did not. I don't think that's been announced yet, has it? That would
I
be
don't know.
sad. Yes, Coffin Joe has been delayed, I believe, twice now, sadly.
I still have to pre-order that. You reminded me. Thank you.
I'm honestly surprised that one's still available to pre-order.
Looks like I'm putting in another grindhouse.
The next one, they are offering a site-exclusive cover of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, of course. So you can pick that up from the Arrow site. And oh man, Jeremy is going to talk about this one a lot. Michael says, Jeremy, any chance you've seen Poor Things? Looks amazing. Calling Emma Stone for an Oscar. Well, let's talk about Oscars after the announcements tonight.
We'll talk about Oscars after the announcements. I will say I have seen it 3 times, and it's phenomenal. And
you've seen it 3 times already?
Yeah.
I only knew of the once. How did you see it the next 2 times?
I keep getting invited to screenings, and the first time I saw it, it was just because I was so desperate to see it. It didn't have any kind of Q&A. I wanted to see it really early. And then I got invited to one with a Q&A with Emma and Yorgos and the writer Tony Mac.
I knew about that one. That's right.
And then I got invited again, and Mark Ruffalo was there. So I was like, well, I have to get that one too. and because I love the movie. But we'll talk about that later during our Oscar talk.
Yeah, tonight's going to be a good conversation. So yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And then they also announced Fear is the Key coming on Blu-ray in the US and Canada on February 13th. This is a film that was previously released on imprint. And I got to say, great movie. Philip Kaufman, Donald Sutherland. Wait, why? Those were still there. Why did I just say those out loud? Not those guys. We're talking about Alistair MacLean and John Talbot, and he is played by Mr. Newman in this. And let's see if here's
Mr. Newman.
Mr. Newman. Ben Kingsley in his first movie role. That's right. Yeah, those were carried over hashtags, and I should not have read those. Yes, Fear is the Key is absolutely great. Must be nice living in LA.
I just responded. It has its pros and cons. Smog-filled air, but you get to see Emma Stone twice.
Thanks, Tony. Okay, and then that is just about it for Arrow. We got one more, The Shaolin Plot from 1977, coming in the US and Canada on February 13th. So we've got the 2 Blu-rays coming in the US and Canada, and then Invasion of the Body Snatchers in the UK. That is it. This one is going to have commentary by Frank Jang and Michael Worth, a commentary by Mike Leader and Arna Venema, and a double-sided fold-out poster and all of that usual Arrow goodness. They've done some really great stuff this year, I got to admit. I've been fairly, I don't want to say like harsh on Arrow over the last couple of years, because they had a rough couple of years, but man, I feel like this year has been a big turnaround for Arrow.
Yeah, we got Tremors 2. We got that beautiful Wolf of Wall Street release with the cool packaging.
That was last year, but yes.
Oh, then they had a good 2 years.
Barbarella just came out. They've got the big thing, probably the biggest thing from them all year, is that Bruce Lee 4K set in the UK, which is amazing. So yeah, they've been quietly doing some great stuff, and we will get to talk about them more through the Shelf Shock Rewind Award stuff as we start picking that up. Literally just tomorrow, the CSC is going to start their nominations for all of our categories. And if you are in the Discord for Disconnected, I shared what all of the categories are, because we've had some changes from last year, and those will be going out publicly soon. But if you want to chat about those, Discord link for the Patreon is in the description below. Arrow's quietly putting out some really cool stuff like Borsalino, Murphy's War, Day of the Locust. Forgot about the Hellraiser Quartet.
Yeah, we forgot about Hellraiser. Yeah,
and the Psycho set. That one is almost more impressive. Does Jeremy live in a trailer next to a drive-in like Cliff Booth?
I wish. I'm actually in my office. I don't know how much of that I can show. Cut this part out. No, I'm not. I'm not currently home. Whoever said that. Oh, Carrie. Um, Although that would be cool. First of all, I just wish drive-ins still existed. But if I live next to one, even better.
There was a really crappy drive-in in my hometown. I need to know if it's still open. It
We
used
had a
to.
drive-in that was only about an hour away, Mission Tiki Drive-in, that was a prime spot during the pandemic when all the theaters were closed. And then right after the pandemic, it shut down.
Yep.
So sad.
We our drive-in in my hometown used to change ownership like every 18 months. And after it changed ownership, it would be closed down for like 6 months for repairs and upgrades. And it would open and still the hell? I guess it's happy birthday.
Is that because you did this?
Yeah, I
This
think
means
so.
happy birthday?
Yeah, so they'd be closed for repairs. It might only be me because I'm the host. Let me see.
Oh, you don't even have to do the quotes. You just give a peace sign and balloons.
Probably. So
What the hell?
if that's so yeah, they'd close and say there's repairs and stuff coming, and it would open and it would be exactly the same. It was always so frustrating.
Honestly, I don't know who. I might get some slack depending on if people in LA are listening to this. But the Vista Theater just reopened. I don't know if you heard about this, even though you're not out here in LA, Ryan.
Yep.
But it was days after the Egyptian. The big three we were waiting to reopen was the Vista, the Egyptian, and the Dome.
El Capitan.
They closed. So we got 2 of the 3 so far, but the Vista, I honestly have zero idea what remodels they did. It looks exactly the same to me. The Egyptian, you can tell. The Vista looks exactly the same.
They swept out the air ducts, maybe.
Yeah. I went with my friends Mike and Sophia, and Sophia's like, I think maybe they changed that one statue over there in the corner.
The repairs is changing out a statue. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
I'm
Next
sure
up. Imprint. They announced a bunch of titles as well. We got Face to Face from 1976 coming on February 28th. This one is Ingmar Bergman's Oscar-nominated psychological drama coming to Blu-ray for the first time anywhere in the world.
So not in the Criterion Bergman set.
Correct. And this is the only one, I believe, of Bergman's titles that has never been on HD before tonight. Dustin says, do the balloon thingy again. It's too funny.
You got $10 for it. Do it.
I will, but I think there's a couple more. So I'm going to see. I think one is a full hand. I don't remember what they are. Okay, we'll go to, is it a wave? Oh, I remember one. It's this. I think it's fireworks.
And you suddenly turn into a noir film when the fireworks go off.
Oh, I love that. Thanks, Dustin. What's going on, Dale? Face to Face was also Batman Returns theme song. Yes. Ryan, do this. Okay. There's another one, maybe. Oh,
that's to Dustin for the $10.
Dustin thinks it is an OnlyFans private chat. Craig, you just lost.
Yeah, my pants are already off, and if somebody gives $100, we'll start removing other clothing.
Mary says, I worked at the Crest in high school many moons ago. Thanks for the fireworks day, Antonio. Okay, so yes, this is a big title. We've got, let's see, new audio commentary by Michael Brook on this one, and then Kat Ellinger doing a video essay, which I can't wait to see that visual essay. I also got to say, the cover on the insert here, I actually really like this.
I do too. I like both the covers.
Yeah, they're both not bad.
The slip is great too.
Yeah, but as like a psychological drama, I think this is a really well-made design.
Well, I'm excited for that one because obviously I love Bergman, and I'm looking forward to. I've never seen that one, so I'm looking forward to adding it to the collection.
And that's why I love Imprint, because this is the next one, and this is The Dresser from 1983, and it's again worldwide first on Blu-ray. How many times are we saying this every single month for Imprint? It is always impressive. This is such a big deal.
Bobby Fischer, all kinds of, throughout this whole year.
We don't know special features on this. Those will be announced later. They are probably still working on it. Dallas's cat is everywhere. We love to see it. Exactly.
The Crest in Westwood. What is that, Mary? Mary Sullivan says, "Don't you know the Crest in Westwood?"
Theater or a drive-in, maybe?
Oh, if it's a drive-in, I'm not that far from Westwood. That'd be great. I didn't know about it.
I feel like I remember the Crest being a theater, not a drive-in.
Oh, okay.
Next up is Mountains of the Moon from 1990. Once again, worldwide first on Blu-ray. Just adding to their wonderful output. On this, we also have an interview with the director that's brand new. Interview with Peter Raffleson, which is son of director Bob Raffleson. Some featurettes, and this again just startling how many times Imprint is able to do this.
Yeah.
Love their output for sure.
Okay, thanks for confirming. I mean, I'll still visit. I love going to new theaters if it's just a theater. I haven't heard of the Crest. Have you seen Godzilla Zero yet?
Me, no. Have you? I don't remember you talking about it. Oh, you saw it last night. That's why I haven't been told about it.
Yeah, that's why you haven't been told about it yet. Remember that scene in Charlie's Angels where Sam Rockwell as Eric Knox is dancing while drinking Coke out of a straw?
I think so, but it's also been a very, very long time.
There's this one in Godzilla Zero. There's this one moment where, well, there's several moments in the score where it sounds. You know that one song, da-na-na-na-na. Anyways, we'll talk about it later. There's so many moments in the score where it sounded like they were going to do that song. If anybody's seeing Godzilla -1 in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. It sounded like they were just going to break into that song all of a sudden, even though it's a Japanese film. But I'm like, what's going on here? But it was always just the opening of the song.
I wouldn't put it past them, that's for sure.
It would have been hilarious.
So I am not entirely sure what happened, but while I posted the announcement for this, they had put the wrong title on here, and I just followed their lead because I was in such a rush to get announcements out. This one's called A Man in Love, and it's from 1987, not called Mountains of the Moon from 1990. This one is going to have a new audio commentary by Alexandra Heller Nicholas, which I will happily say I have an interview with her coming out on the channel here in a couple weeks.
Amazing.
Alexandra is amazing, and I can't wait to share that one. This one looks pretty dang great, and it was nominated for the Palme d'Or. It can. Next title is I'm Not Scared from 2003. This is coming to Blu-ray for the first time anywhere in the world. Gotta love that. This one is based on the 2001 novel that was written by Niccolo Amaniti. I'm Not Scared was nominated for the Golden Berlin Bear and the 2003 Berlin International Film Festival. And it's going to have a new interview with the director, a couple actors, writers, and a documentary featurette, behind-the-scenes featurette, and a vintage interview. I mean, just adding to their repertoire again.
Yeah, it looks like I'm spending a lot of money at Imprint in the near future.
Yeah, they are somebody that is always really getting stuff that people have not even tried for, and I love it. I love it.
Oh, Dell got it. That's the song I'm talking about. If you go see Godzilla -1 or Godzilla 0 because of inflation, then literally, if you know that song or listen, anybody who's going to go see that movie, listen to it before you go to the movie. And there's several moments where the score sounds like it's about to break into that song, and it just doesn't. It was such a tease.
How did you feel about the movie overall, other than just good? Like, you feel it's pretty great for what it is?
I liked it a lot. It's a really good story behind all the Godzilla craziness, which I really liked. I got a bit choked up.
Did you see Shin Godzilla when it came out?
I haven't watched that one, no. it's a nice throwback to like the early days of Godzilla because at first one of my critiques was like, "Oh, Godzilla feels like very like stiff and robotic," and I was like, "Well, I think they did that on purpose to kind of do like a throwback Godzilla instead of these like really CGI'd Godzilla that we've seen in the more recent movies, like Godzilla King of the Monsters and stuff."
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if it's so much of a critique either anymore as it is of like I don't know. Anyways, I like that. I gave it 4 stars.
I will say, Graham Skipper, who is the one that was hired by, Toho to write the exhaustive history of Godzilla. It's a book that came out, I believe, last fall. It's fantastic. He was, invited to the premiere for the film, and he posted that it is the best Godzilla film since the first one. And for
Wow.
somebody immersed in the world like that, that
Yeah.
means a lot.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't lie because he said a lot of great things about Shin Godzilla, but never said anything like it being the best one since the first. That's a big deal for him.
That's a big statement. Yeah, especially coming from somebody like that. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
Next title is Children of Heaven from 1997. This is an Iranian drama that was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars. And this one is not having any special features revealed yet. We'll find out later on those. But this looks like a really beautiful piece.
I like
It
the
says,
cover on it.
a poor brother and sister dream up a plan to stay out of trouble after one of them loses their pair of school shoes. Looks like a good one. Next up, we got a Peter Bogdanovich film coming from Kino Lorber, Someday, Daisy Miller from 1974. This has a 4K scan of the OCN, brand new master by Paramount, and we'll get this one eventually. Not sure when, but considering it's already been scanned, I wouldn't be surprised if we have this before the end of the summer. I know that
I'll
sounds
always
like a
support.
far ways away, but no.
I'll always support Bogdanovich, but I will not support Kino until they give me brain donors.
January, my friend. Antonio says, are the owners of Imprint British? I don't think so. I mean, I know they're in Australia, but I don't think they're British at all. Joel from Scarecrow Video says Godzilla -1 is almost the polar opposite of Shin Godzilla. Interesting.
But both
But
are fantastic.
both are fantastic.
Silent Mandible says, I have to watch Shin Godzilla, so I will.
And then Carrie Mulligan says, while the film wasn't one of my favorites that year, the trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters is one of the best trailers I've ever seen. I agree. It's a good trailer. Very good trailer. Next up is another Kino title. This one is Underworld from 1927 coming on Blu-ray. This is a 2020 master by Paramount from a 4K scan. This is one that has been released as part of the Criterion set, I believe. And I'm not entirely sure if that's going out of print or not. So I'm very curious because it's directed by Joseph von Sternberg. So I'm not entirely sure if that one is going to be still available or not. I guess we will find out over time.
And don't worry, I did give Celeste my full breakdown and review of Mr. Monk's last case.
Oh, good, good.
She was eagerly awaiting that.
Dell says, I wanted to love King of the Monsters, but all the fighting was filmed so dark I could barely make anything out. I think that was on purpose to hide what they couldn't do.
In my opinion, out of that whole kind of new world building that they're doing, even extending into the new show, Monarch on Apple, my favorite's still Kong Skull Island. I love that one.
Kong is pretty great.
But I do like Godzilla versus Kong as well. I think those two stand stronger to me than either of the two solo Godzilla movies in that new universe.
I got a soft spot for Cranston in Godzilla for some reason.
Well, Cranston's a master. I hear that.
That's true. They also announced at Kino that they will soon be releasing Shane from 1953 on 4K UHD. It will have a brand new HDR Dolby Vision master from a 4K scan of the OCN. This is a title that people love. I've not been able to see this one, but it's got Jack Palance, and it's supposed to be a big one. Supposed to be a big one.
Sorry, ever since I linked my account and I can text in the chat now. I get distracted sometimes.
Craig says the first half of Godzilla with Cranston is fantastic. Then it becomes a completely different movie, and it's not a good one. Yeah, I agreed there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's how I feel about Kong versus Godzilla too.
All right. Next is Scarlet Street from Kino is coming on January 30th on 4K and Blu-ray. This is going to have a new audio commentary by Imogen Sarah Smith. Also going to have the older commentary by David Collott. And yeah, looks like a nice solid release. And then we've got this alternate sleeve art on the inside, another Fritz Lang film coming to 4K. This looks amazing.
Yeah.
The Brie Larson lore continues.
I'll never live that down. But
next,
you know what makes up for Brie Larson? You can keep John Goodman in Kong Skull Island.
That's true. That's true.
He's reprising his role in the Monarch show.
Is he?
I don't know if you started watching it or yet, not yet, but he's in. He's in it.
I've never watched a single thing on Apple TV. If it's on Apple TV, it does not exist to me.
Kind of like me on Amazon Prime.
Exactly. I put up an interview with Lucky McKee, the writer and director who did May and The Woman and Old Man. Did a segment of Tales of Halloween this week. Hope everybody can give that a watch.
Which, by the way, we're obviously very, very good friends. Everybody who is fans of the channel knows that. Not trying to blow smoke because I love you and I would be honest with you. This is one of your best interviews yet. Oh. And everybody should go watch it because it was a fantastic, very candid interview, and I really enjoyed it.
You don't comment on many of them, so that means a lot. Thank you. Why was this one so different?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, you and I, this is something we have talked about before off chat. That your interview style and candor has grown since you first started doing the interviews on your channel.
Yeah.
So you got that experience under your belt, but I don't know. It's just the direction that the conversation went, and I felt like there was a lot of real. Genuine earnestness in the conversation, and Lucky opened up a lot, and I feel like Lucky is somebody who doesn't get enough recognition either for a lot of the great horror films that he's done over the years. And I just I thought it was a genuine, really poignant interview.
I can't wait for people to see the next interview with the director because that one's even deeper.
I've heard about that, and I'm excited about that one. When's that dropping? Do you have any updates?
It'll probably be not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that.
Okay, cool. I'm excited for everybody to see that one, too. Including myself.
This is true. February 6th, Mubi is releasing the Kingdom trilogy from Lars von Trier in the U.S. This is going to be a 7-disc set, and it will have all three, the Kingdom 2, and the Kingdom Exodus from 94, 97, and 2022. And let's see, it has been restored. Let's see what it says. Beautifully restored and never before seen versions of each episode. And it's supposed to be a pretty solid release. Mubi so far has been doing really well.
Mubi does really well. I have quite a few Mubi releases. Yeah. See, you're getting lots of love for the... Thanks, Dan. Lots of love for the Lucky McKee interview.
I appreciate you all.
Is this not part of the Lars von Trier box set that just came out?
It is not.
Wow, okay. I'm going to have to pick it up.
Yeah, so this is a perfect companion piece. Sibner says, Mubi slowly but surely showing its strength in the physical media world. Not only that, Gary Mulligan. That's amazing. What a callback, especially with you on the show.
Been trying to get him to...
Mubi,
I gave
though,
him Victor Salva's direct phone number.
Mubi has been putting out most of their stuff in the UK, and now that they're doing some stuff in the US, I'm very curious to see how they do this moving forward because they're not going to be able to get licenses in both regions most of the time, obviously. But I really hope they keep sort of pushing some of these titles because their releases, in some instances, have been better than what people would expect the better release to be. Like Drive My Car, I believe, is came out from Mubi in the UK, and it had like a 3-hour featurette that Criterion's did not, and that's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, I have both versions because I love that movie. But yeah, movie is definitely the superior one. And hey, if we hadn't gotten an A24, one of those A24, boutique releases for After Sun, movie's the only one that put that out too.
And the sad thing is, I bought the After Sun from Mubi before A24s came out.
I don't mind. I got both too. The more support that movie can get, the better in my book.
Well, and I've just like Silent Mandible just said, along with Criterion Channel, I like to always be subbed to Mubi, even when I'm not watching it a lot, because I want them to have my money and support. Mubi, they need it. They're the type of company that's putting the time and energy into all of this. So,
Mubi, Second Sight, honestly, even the name just slipped my tongue, but the company that did just put out the Lars von Trier set,
Curzon.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They're fairly new to the game too, and they're putting out beautiful sets.
You are wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yes,
they've been around for a while.
Yes, they've been around for quite some time.
Why am I just hearing about them now?
Because
they start doing these sets.
They started just doing these lavish box sets. Before then, they were partnered with a company called Artificial Eye, and they were looked down on. So a lot of times, like I have a release of The Handmaiden up there that was Curzon, and on the side it says Curzon Artificial Eye because they worked together on it. And from what I remember, I believe Curzon just got bought by somebody that is in the US, and they're putting a lot of attention into this to be like.
Oh, so they're kind of rebranding themselves.
Kind of, yes.
Well,
Curzon itself is a boutique cinema chain in the UK.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Here's a good question. I've still never seen The Kingdom. Could The Kingdom be a good introduction to Lars von Trier overall? Have you seen The Kingdom?
I have not. I love Lars von Trier.
It's not been super easy to see. That's the hard part.
What's that hospital one that he did? That's a show. Why can't I remember the name of it?
I have not been able to see any of his TV stuff.
I think it's called Kingdom Hospital, which is why I'm asking about it. But I guess maybe it's not part of this set because I didn't see it on the list.
Oh, well, it says strange things are happening in the underbelly of a Danish hospital.
Oh, okay.
So it might be Kingdom or Kingdom 2 then.
Because they did. Here, I'm going to look it up while we're talking. I have not seen if it is that. Well, you keep.
David says that's The Kingdom, and Tony says I think it is.
Then in that case,
Tony says Kingdom Hospital is the remake of The Kingdom, and that's one that Lars von Trier did with Stephen King.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. So that remake I watched, but not the original. I did like the remake. Obviously, as they just mentioned, Lars von Trier was involved in it with Stephen King, which of course is quite the duo. And I quite enjoyed it. So I look forward to seeing the original by purchasing this beautiful set. If it's anything like Kingdom Hospital, which I'm sure it is, if Kingdom Hospital is a tried and true remake, then I would say it is a good entry. So take it with a grain of salt because I haven't actually watched The Kingdom. But if it resembles Kingdom Hospital enough, then I would say it's a good introduction to Lars von Trier. Yes,
I agree with Ronnie. Not confusing at all. Very, very confusing.
All the kingdoms back and forth.
Big Disc Energy says it's been a few years. Any thoughts on von Trier's The House That Jack Built?
It's one of my favorites of his.
I think it's fantastic. I think that it is really well acted. I think they picked the perfect person to star in that film.
I agree. They did for a while, and I don't think they do it anymore, to my knowledge. They were doing on top of the Montalban Theater here in Hollywood. They would have rooftop screenings up there, co-sponsored, I believe, by Cine Lounge. and I saw quite a few films up there on the roof during the brief period of time that they were doing these, including Mandy as well. But House That Jack Built was one of the ones I saw on the rooftop of the Monauban. And boy, was that a trip to watch that movie in the open air, like high elevation with headphones on.
Yikes.
But yeah, I mean, we even got little House That Jack Built masks at that screening. I'll have to show you sometime.
Nice.
But I love that movie.
Yeah, so this is a pretty big deal announcement. A lot of people are very excited about this. Next up, well,
I'm excited about The Kingdom, actually, now that we talked about it and figured out that it's the original of the remake that I've seen. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing the original and purchasing that set.
Well, the next thing on there is another piece of self-promotion, but I guess I could just show the Physical Media Advocate is finally physical in real magazine form. You can get the newest issue number 6 on Amazon. And also, if you don't want to go to Amazon, I will have extras. And if you buy from me, I can send you a copy.
How do I buy from you so I don't have to support Amazon?
DM me and I'll send it to you.
DM you?
Okay. Yes. DM me over text.
You know what the Physical Advocate getting a physical release gets?
It gets balloons. And nobody even has to pay. Maybe not.
Oh no. Where are they? There we go. Woo!
Yay!
And fireworks.
I'm intensely proud of this and the way that it looks. I really hope that people check this out. And this, as long as we can keep it the length that it was for this issue, it should be coming out every single month. For the back issues that were now out on physical, I'm going to be doing a compendium of issues 1, 2, and 3 to come out as one, and then 4 and 5 will come out as one as well. So you can get all of them together. But also, this has like the second part of Craig's origin story from Deaf Crocodile. You want the first part, so we're gonna get that out, and it's wild to see in person, man. I'm shocked that we could get this done, but it's pretty rad.
Yeah, to hold it in your hand like that, as somebody, I mean, we talked about this before. To actually hold the physical product is a big deal.
Next thing is one that I am shocked is out on physical as well. We're getting another Netflix release of Wednesday coming on Blu-ray, and we don't have a release date for this yet, but it is coming, and you can pre-order this now from a few places. Netflix didn't own this; they just distributed it, so it's the reason that it was released. I think compared to some of their other stories, or not stories, I was reading Sardis's comment as I said that. Their other films and series are not getting releases, but this one makes sense. So,
stoked because I actually really enjoyed the show, and I'm a Jenna Ortega stan, as the kids say.
Yeah, I'm especially a Jenna Ortega stan after the whole Scream 7 debacle, which is ridiculous.
God bless her for that. I mean, yeah, as if I didn't have another reason to love her.
We definitely don't need to go into the whole Melissa Barrera thing and all that, but it is a ridiculous move from that studio to remove something.
They don't have a movie anymore unless if they somehow flip-flop this. I don't think they have a quality film anymore without those two.
If you're Melissa Barrera, you don't go back to a movie after they do that.
That's true too. Yeah. I mean, I was excited too because I got what's his face directing it. I can't think of his name. Who did Freaky? And Happy Death Day?
Yeah.
He was directing the new one, and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be good." I was actually really excited about it. And now I'm just like, why bother? Since they're gone, you lost your two main leads of the reboot.
Will says Jenna Ortega was out due to a wage dispute several months ago. Then why was it announced the day after?
Will just likes to stir the pot.
Christopher Landon is the director's name.
That's who it was.
Next,
I like Christopher Landon a lot.
I do too. I really, really like Happy Death Day, and Freaky was great.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen his adaptation of it, but I don't know if I can support it anymore.
I still hope that they do a third Happy Death Day somehow because, man, I don't even know, like, has the main what is the main character's name? I forget her name.
The character or the actress?
The actor. Oh, it's
Jessica.
Jessica Roth. Sorry.
Yeah,
Jessica Roth is incredible in those. And
as that
so,
character, yeah, she does such a good job.
yeah. I really wish she would do more films, but I think that she killed it as that character, and anything that they can do to get her more work would make me happy for sure.
I haven't seen her in a whole lot since those movies, so yeah, I agree with you.
Has she done anything since those
She's
movies?
done some stuff. I did see her in some romantic comedy that was on one of the streaming services, I believe.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would love to see her in more stuff too.
Oh, I think I remember getting told that she was doing some TV.
She was in, let's see, Body Brokers, which was some streaming movie thing from 2021. I think All My Life is the thing I was thinking of. I forget what platform that was on, but it's just a romantic comedy that she was in. But yeah, she hasn't done much since Happy Death Day, sadly. I would like to see more of her as well. I think she's great.
People are pointing out the Valley Girl remake that she was in.
Oh, I did not watch that.
I have not seen that either. Oh, and that came out right after Happy Death Day to You. Interesting. Okay, what is going on, Cam? Hello, Cam. What is our next title? Oh, I hate self promotion. I got asked to contribute to Jim Lexowski's piece that he does for Substack, and if you want to check that out, I wrote on the most important things in life, which are the Muppets, ska music, and barbecue. So if that sounds interesting, check that out. Link was in that post. Next up is there is a Kino sale live right now, and this one's odd because usually, like clockwork, it's almost always December 4th, and they came out and their sale was a week early, and it's a little lighter than most of their sales. Usually their sales are like 850 titles. This one's just over 500, which is still a massive sale.
Yeah.
And they've got some good ones, and again, quite a few newer titles, which like the Kino Cult titles are already on sale. The American Ninja titles already on sale. It's
What about
crazy.
Final Cut? I didn't look at it personally. Did you happen to see if Final Cut was on there?
I don't think it is, and I
Okay.
probably wouldn't have noticed because I got it in the last Target sale.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Nice.
My feelings on barbecue would not make a lot of people in Texas happy, Sibner. My feelings on barbecue are that I am a sauce person, so I happen to fit in perfectly in Kansas City barbecue.
Ryan took me to one of his favorite barbecue places when I was visiting him, but not his favorite because unfortunately that one was closed.
That's what happens when we try to go on a holiday.
Oh, Joel says Final Cut is in there. That's great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll. That looks like I have to spend more money now.
I'm shocked.
What's the threshold to get free shipping on Kino?
$50.
Oh, easy. Okay, great.
Easy. I only have to buy 12 titles.
I'll get both the American Ninjas. I'll get Final Cut and like 2 other things. Boom, bada
There you
bing.
go. There you go. Next up is the Glenn Danzig film Death Rider in the House of Vampires from 2021 is getting a Blu-ray release.
This is a good part. This is a good moment for me to take a pee break.
Potentially. This is coming out from Cleopatra Records, and they are doing like 5 or 6 different slipcovers for this film. So if you really want to catch them all, you're going to have a lot of Danzig in your house. I don't see anything about features on this release, and I don't think there are any. I think it's just the film. How do you feel about Danzig, Jeremy? You got very quiet.
I've had a personal experience with Danzig, and I do not like him. I think not only my personal experience, but I've heard. How much did you spend on Final Cut, Ryan? More than 1099?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I've heard so many horror stories about him from people that I really like and trust, and then after my personal experience with him, I can say that he's a piece of shit.
Yet there's a lot of love in the comments. Will says, "I will tolerate no Danzig slander."
Well, Will always says that.
Craig from Deaf Crocodile says, "Weirdly, I've met him twice."
I like his music. I'm a big fan of the Misfits and some of Danzig.
Tony's not
a fan. I agree with Tony.
John Peters wants to know who's a better person, Brie Larson or Danzig.
That's a tough one. I'll get back to you, John. No, probably Brie.
All right. Moving right along. Jana's Contemporaries is putting out A Fire. From 2023.
Sorry,
This one says this one says, while vacationing by the Baltic Sea, writer Leon and photographer Felix are surprised to encounter Nadia, a mysterious young woman staying at a guest house at the holiday home of Felix's family. Nadia soon distracts Leon from finishing his latest novel, not only because of her passionate liaison with lifeguard David, but also because her brutal honesty forces Leon to confront his artistic inadequacies. This one will have a Meet the Filmmakers new interview with the director and a trailer on it.
Ooh.
What's wrong with the puns, Sibner? Come on.
I'm catching up in the chat, and I see that Dude McMahon says that they don't charge tax either.
Correct.
Like, you know. Looks like I'm getting some movies after this stream.
What's up, KB and Dead Sea Life? Let's see. Stan says he's neutral on Danzig.
Have you met Danzig, Stan? Deaf Crocodile said he met him twice. I would love to know what your experiences have been with him.
And next episode on the Danzig cast. Anyways.
Oh, Anthony's correct. I'm catching up in the comments. Anthony says later in the Discord, Jeremy says, I need help cutting down my Kino card.
And that will be after he texts me and I get him to remove like 4 titles.
Yeah, it's way too accurate.
Have either of you seen the new Furiosa trailer? I have not seen it yet.
I have, and it looks dope. George Miller's a genius. I can't wait.
It got posted as I was posting the final 2 announcements tonight.
DC says, show us on the doll where Danzig touched you, Jeremy. He didn't touch me, but I watched him almost kick a random dude's teeth in for telling him to be quiet and stop talking at normal indoor talking volume during the premiere of VHS 99.
So why are you getting so loud to tell us about that?
Because it makes me very heated to think about that situation.
Dude McMahon says, I hope you can spend $500 on the Kino sale, Jeremy.
I hope you send me $500 to spend on the Kino sale, Dude McMahon.
Next up is a big one for Jeremy. February 21st on Blu-ray, Umbrella Entertainment is releasing 3 films by Lee Chang-dong.
I'm stoked about this one. And Umbrella puts out some really great box sets, too. Not quite Second Sight or Curzon level, but I'm sure this is going to be a beautiful set, and it's 3 beautiful films I can't wait to have in my collection.
So if we were going to have a category for most improved in the Shelf Shock Rewind Awards, I feel like that might almost go to Umbrella for the amount of work they've started to put into this stuff. Unfortunately, they've also made a lot of really terrible decisions this year, especially in the actual films. Like the fact that their release of Razorback is still incorrect and stretched. And I really wish that they had got some of that together. Anyways, this looks great. In this, we're going to have Peppermint Candy from 99, Oasis from 2002, and Poetry from 2010. And there's going to be some extras in this, including new commentaries, behind the scenes archives. We're going to have some discussions at the BFI, trailers, all kinds of stuff. And all 3 films are getting extras, including one with Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. That's going to be on Poetry. And if you order it from Umbrella, you get one of their fancy packages, hard box with the numbers and all that fun stuff.
Super stoked. In fact, actually, Umbrella's whole new lineup that they just announced for February is pretty great. I mean, this takes the cake, but I'm catching up on the comments as I mentioned earlier, and I'd like to say to Sardis that I would love to work on Colbert, so they should call his cell phone as he asked, as he suggested. I also want to say that just when I'm starting to kind of like Dr. Will Dodson again, he goes and says something like, "If Danzig wishes to speak, the theater should listen." In the middle of a movie, get the hell out of here, Will.
Anyways, the next title from Umbrella is a big one. The Hitcher, the original 1986 Hitcher, is coming on Blu-ray on February 21st. Now, obviously, everybody watching this and listening to this knows that Second Sight is releasing The Hitcher on 4K. So this is one for people that are in Australia. This is one for people that don't care about 4K. It looks like a really nice, solid release. Unfortunately, it has no new extras on it, which I'm willing to bet the Second Sight one will be just loaded with extras. But this is one of those odd choices that I was just referring to. If this is already announced as coming in 4K from someone else, you would think you would want to compete with that in somehow. And not saying that this had to be 4K, because I understand UHDs are expensive, but you would think that you would have wanted to get at least something new. And granted, that might not be up to them. The studio may have said, hey, you can release this, but we don't want anything on the disc other than what we've previously approved. So I'm not going to necessarily hold it against them, but this is one that I do wish, if they were wanting to compete, had a little bit more, we'll say, like meat on the bone.
I agree. But this next one that you're about to flip to, I'm also really excited from Umbrella.
Well, that's it for the show. Thank you. The next one then is Paul Verhoeven's first English language film, Flesh and Blood, from 1985. Now, once again,
Anthony's excited about this one.
He is not, because he's like I was about to say, this has already been announced as coming from Cape Light soon in the US and UK, I believe.
On a better release.
It'll be a Blu-ray media book, so if you're into media books, it will be a nice pickup, especially because it will be a US release. And this one looks crazy good if you want all of the extras, because a media book's not going to have all of these extra art cards and the giant book. Plus, also, this has a genuine film cell in it. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. I like the art a lot, too, on this one.
Yeah, the inner art is great, and overall, the art that they're choosing for the box and everything, it's nice. This looks like a fun set.
I'm excited about this one. I'm probably going to be putting in an order with this and the 3-film set, personally. Those are my 2 favorite releases from this month from them.
Dead Sea Life says, have any VS subscribers gotten their package for this month yet? Has the April Fool's slip in it, and I'm dying to know what it is. Funny enough, as we were covering Flesh and Blood, somebody just messaged me on Facebook to say that Fatal Games got the April Fool's Day slipcover.
Wow.
So somebody's already gotten their subscriber package. Not sure if it's a lenticular or a hard box or something yet, but there's something with Fatal Games.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's good to know. We finally got the insider secret on that.
Umbrella's next title is Bluebeard from 1972. This is one that, again, just came out fairly recently from another boutique. And this one's going to have a new audio commentary by David Del Valle and Daniel Marino. It's also going to have a discussion with Kim Newman, which Kim Newman is pretty amazing. David Del Valle's great, too. So stoked that this is getting a release, and it's getting new extras. And then 2 more titles left. First one, Dr. Crippen from 1963 from Umbrella, coming on February 21st as well. This is a Donald Pleasance joint with a whole stack of new extras. We got a new audio commentary with Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons. Jonathan Rigby is great. And then a new discussion with Kim Newman on this one. The only thing that's odd, the art that they're using right here is from a still from a very well-known Roman Polanski film, and not Dr. Crippen. How do you release a film like this and have the key art that is referenced in everything be from a different film altogether?
I don't know. I don't know
So
how it's possible.
confused.
I don't know how you can legally do that, to be quite frank. Not even
Yeah.
just like oh, how'd they make that mistake and how did it slip past so many eyes or whatever, but how could they legally do that?
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
All right, as you're wrapping up this last announcement, I'm going to take a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
You got it. Have fun. The last Umbrella announcement is Red Corner with Richard Gere from 1997, coming on February 21st. This will have a new audio commentary by Heath Holland, who is the Serial at Midnight guy. And then from Tiananmen to Hollywood, The Legacy of Red Corner by L. Scott Jose. And yeah, another solid month. Let's see. Never thought this would get put out, says Sibner. Hire a dumb graphic designer and don't check. Yes, that's exactly how that happens. It's pretty impressive to go that low. From Wellgo on January 16th, they are releasing The Child from 2023. Now, at first, this didn't really catch my eye too much, but then this is written and directed by Park Hoon-jung, who also did I Saw the Devil and New World, which are both fantastic. So The Child follows a man born to a Korean father and a Filipino mother who aspires to be a boxer. He travels to the Philippines in the hopes of tracking down his father, and in the process, he gets mixed up with some bad people. This sounds interesting. I can't wait to see this. Solid director. I Saw the Devil, amazing. New World, very good. Very curious to see how this turns out. This art is a little odd. I don't I don't know. Obviously, this is not like a portrait. It looks a little bit weird. But yeah, I'm very curious to check this one out. And then our final announcement is also from Wellgo, and they're releasing a film called Monster from this year. And this says, after a mother discovers that a teacher's bullying is behind her young son's sudden strange behavior, she storms into a school demanding an explanation. Continually left without satisfactory answers and with an increasingly distressed child, she furiously escalates her concerns to the school board and the media. But as the story unfolds through the multi-layered perspectives of mother, teacher, and child, the real truth gradually emerges and proves much more complex than anyone could have expected. And as somebody who has 2 kids and worries about some of this, I am very worried about watching this movie, but I definitely want to check it out. Sibner, that's a great comment. Humboldt Horror Journey says, saw Monster at Calgary Film Fest and it's really good. Interesting. Ted Sea Life, great question. Why are there so many movies called Monster not about monsters? To be fair, this one might be about a monster, and it sounds like the teacher might be a monster. Yes, Craig, final announcement, and it's only 90 minutes in, but we still have a long discussion to have about Oscars. And with Jeremy here, the Oscars is going to be a long discussion for sure. After we talk about all those announcements, we always share what is coming out next week, just in case you forgot. So let's give a highlight to those. Wow, joysticks on Amazon is down to $19.99. Yeah, I could see that going even lower, to be honest. It's basically the same disc as prior, so it doesn't make much sense to charge much more. Titanic is the big title coming out next week on 4K, and it has been getting rave reviews on how the 4K looks, especially the digital bits. Bill Hunt says that it is an astonishing looking release. Can't wait for Titanic. Then Point Break 4K is a big one for next week. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny also coming next week. Days of Heaven 4K from Criterion. Moving right along, we got Silver Bullet 4K from Scream Factory, Young Guns 4K, and a 4K Steelbook also coming for Young Guns. Babylon 5, the complete series, Stand By Me 4K. That's a new Steelbook release with Dolby Vision now. Blast of Silence from Criterion. The Color Purple 4K is coming out next week. Star Trek Strange New World Season 2. Creepshow Season 4 from RLJE and Shudder. The Inspector Wears Skirts from 88 Films. Office Christmas Party in 4K, Jeremy's favorite Christmas film.
Never thought we'd see a 4K of that.
It is so odd that in 2023 we're getting a 4K of Office Christmas Party.
It's a fine movie, but
with TJ Miller presented front and center on the art.
Not deserving of a 4K. Sorry for taking a little while. I was getting critiqued by some of my coworkers at how much soda I had.
Well, and isn't it a jaunt to your bathroom there?
It's a little bit of a jaunt, yeah. I'm excited about the Northern Exposure complete series, TBA.
Yeah, that one came kind of out of nowhere. Odd Couple complete series also next week.
And looking forward to season 4 of Creepshow.
Whoops. Yes, that's a very hit or miss in the entire series, but the ones that hit pretty well.
Yeah.
Eye for Icarus from Kino next week. Blue Jean Monster, 88 Films. Tokyo Pop from Kino. That's one that I definitely need to be getting soon. $1,000 billion from Kino as well. The Exiles from, I believe that's Milestone Pictures. Ballad of Little Joe from Kino. Pajama Party. Thunder Road coming from the wonderful people at Sandpiper Pictures, as they're also releasing Break-In, Break-In 2, and Blackula on Blu-ray. Now, I will remind everybody, these are decent discs, but they are not an upgrade. If you have those old titles, it's literally the exact same thing. So do not be surprised if there's ever an upgrade on those. Maybe next year we'll get The Night Before in 4K. I feel like that had already came out in 4K. Did it not?
I don't know.
It did not. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
If they're releasing very underseen Christmas comedies in 4K, if they keep that trend up.
Sarda says, what is the Blue Jean Monster? The Blue Jean Monster says a cop turns into a monster after being gunned down and electrocuted in a triad shootout. Dude McMahon says, I can't wait for the big Sandpiper sale, if only. All of their discs have stayed pretty pricey. Chris Silvestri, does anyone know why 8-Bit Christmas and A Christmas Story Christmas only got DVD releases? I just realized this, and it's baffling. Because people are not bright. That's the biggest thing. A Disturbance in the Forest, that documentary, releases next Tuesday. Monsters of California releases next week. And All Jacked Up and Full of Worms from TerraVision and The Head from TerraVision are shipping now. And a reminder, The Head is by Michael Keane, another YouTuber who's been on the channel before, and highly suggest supporting him and TerraVision and what they're doing. What's your biggest title coming out next week?
Out of these picks?
Out of all the ones that we just covered for next week.
I jumped in the middle of it.
You jumped in on Titanic, which is the first title.
Oh. I would say Creepshow season 4. I like the show overall.
I am.
I like Titanic, but I'm not one of those diehard fans. I'm sure I'll pick up the 4K, but I'm not like, oh my god, about that one.
You should be.
What else? Scroll back down again.
No.
Well, obviously the TerraVision titles are exciting as always.
Yes, and I will echo what is being said in the comments that All Jacked Up and Full of Dirt is nuts. This title, Brad said that some people after watching it are going to feel like they might go to prison. So it's the type of movie that if you want wild, you should check out All Jacked Up and Full of Dirt.
How could I forget about Office Christmas Party in 4K? We were just talking.
Touche.
Inflation.
I will say a big one for me, since it hasn't gotten a lot of fanfare from you. I really love Young Guns, and
I thought you were going to say Dial of Destiny.
I've still not seen it. I had to get Young Guns ordered literally the day it was announced. That movie, that is a wonderful movie.
As not a huge Western fan, as you know, Ryan, I do enjoy Young Guns. It's one of the few Westerns that I enjoyed. So I'll probably pick it up as well. I'm not itching to get it, but I'll probably pick it up.
Well, that is it for announcements. And so our discussion for this week is going to be something that both of us love, find a lot of joy in, but also don't take super, super seriously
Correct.
as for what it means about cinema. But it is always fun to see some of these films get rewarded. And so it is almost
Or just
Oscar time.
rewarding cinema as a whole, which, as we
Yeah,
discussed, is the way I look at the Oscars.
exactly.
I don't take the winners or nominations seriously in terms of what was actually the best of the year. It's just a day to celebrate film and filmmakers and everybody involved in film. And to that end, when I say everybody involved in film, I think we need more Oscar categories.
Yeah,
Stunts.
stunts is the biggest one.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is every year we have a show with the two of us and John DeMarsico, which we're going to do again when the nominations come out. We're not going to look at them, and we're going to react to them live, and we're going to discuss them and all of that fun stuff. But that's not till the end of January usually. Then, when the Oscars actually happen, we'll probably do another stream, live reacting to winners, covering everything, discussing it. It'll be a lot of fun. We did it last year; it was like a 6.5 hour stream. Can't wait to do it again. But this time, we figured why not come out and try to guess a couple months early what they're going to nominate. Now, for some of these, this is going to be a shoe in for some of these. It's going to be an obvious pick. But what we're going to do. Oh, wow. Mary says the coverage of the Oscars last year was surprising and wonderful. Loved it. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. I didn't think anybody enjoyed it.
Tony from Australia loved it too.
Oh, yeah? Between the three of us, I mean, I know we had fun with it. I didn't think anybody else loved it.
Little comment from Craig before we go into this says, speaking of the Academy Awards, who's releasing the official Iranian entry for Best International Feature Film at the 2023 Academy Awards? Deaf Crocodile. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah, Deaf Crocodile.
Okay, so what we decided to do is cover what I always called the big six. So we've got Best Picture, Best Director, and then Best Actor, Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Actress. And then Jeremy, being a writer, he wants to throw in Best Screenplay and Best Adapted Screenplay. Yeah. So he's going to cover those two first, and then we're going to go in and discuss all of the other six categories. But what we're going to do is share what we think is going to be nominated. This is literally just guessing. But Jeremy also has a list of titles he wants to be nominated.
Kind of. I didn't...
Changing it up on me.
I had such a busy day that I didn't really get to fully map that out as much as I wanted to in preparation for this show.
I worked 8 jobs today and I still made a list. Come on.
I made a list of what you asked me to, which is what I think will be nominated. I just didn't get to.
I'm kidding.
I just didn't get to fully do my list of what I would like or what I feel like should be nominated versus what actually will be.
Right.
But I'm going to kind of still say some honorable mentions on the spot since I didn't get to make up a list, just based on, my 2023 ranked Letterboxd list and like what I personally enjoyed from the year,
All right.
So no official list, but I'm going to throw out some titles probably for each category.
All right. Are we doing adapted or original first?
Oh yeah, but you're not commenting on these, huh?
We can discuss. I probably could have done adapted because I know which ones are adapted, but I don't have the time to put in for both of these.
Oh, and of course, as you know, I always like to do themed shirts when I'm a guest on your show.
Yes.
So I got my everything last year's big winner and my favorite film of last year. I got my Everything Everywhere shirt on. We can do we'll do original first.
Okay. Scolder says
it's suddenly nominated the year after its release.
Top Gun Maverick zooms past all of the other nominees.
I don't know if I agree with Sardis, but I don't think it should have been nominated as much as it did. Okay. Oh no. Can you please hold for a second?
Yes, I will vamp. So as we're looking at these 6 categories, we're going to try to talk about why we think they're going to be nominated. And what is going to be interesting, I still haven't seen all of them. Jeremy's crazy. Jeremy sees so many of the new movies. I think he has seen all of the ones that he's going to talk about tonight, unless they haven't been released yet. And what's crazy, there's a couple of these that because it's award season, they already have buzz, even though only a handful of people have already seen them. So it's very interesting to try to put a lot of thought into this and figure out who's going to be nominated. So what just happened?
Sorry, my boss, the vice president of Post, likes to come to my desk and take things off of it and hide it. And like this morning, I came in and the key to my one cabinet of hard drives. There he goes again. It was in a cup of thumbtacks. It's like a fucking jigsaw trap over here. And I was watching him do it again while we were talking. Anyways,
so best original screenplay. What are we guessing?
I overheard a little bit of what you were saying at the end, and I have seen quite a few that aren't even released yet, just for the record, too.
Yeah.
There's only a few I haven't seen that I had to kind of like guess, like, oh yeah, I do think this will be nominated just based on the content, the cast.
What are the big ones that you haven't seen yet?
Wonka, Color Purple, and those are the two big ones that I think would possibly receive any but nominations whatsoever.
What do you think Wonka would be nominated for? Maybe like costumes.
Costumes almost for sure. Color Purple obviously is going to get a lot of stuff as well.
Jeremy.
I don't know how I'm supposed to focus. What? Sorry.
Yes, Jeremy has seen the Iron Claw already.
I have seen the Iron Claw. It was very good. Unfortunately, I don't think Beau is Afraid is getting anything. Stan, sad face.
Yeah,
I have seen Ferrari. Didn't love it.
Sardis, they have remade The Color Purple, and from what I hear, it might even be a musical.
It sure is a musical. So is Wonka, by the way.
And I honestly have nothing against that. I just know that it probably will not be as loved as it would have been if it wasn't.
Yeah. But you got Steven Spielberg behind it.
All right. Original screenplay. What do you got for us this year?
All right. Here's what I think will be nominated by the Academy. Barbie. Duh.
Wait, isn't that an adapted screenplay?
I technically did drastic research on this before writing this up. And from my understanding, and I could be wrong,
I could have swore we discussed this last year, and if it was on a character that already existed, then it was adapted.
From my research, it's being considered as original.
Okay.
The WGA has really weird rules, for the record.
You would know. You're in the
WGA. I just saw Origin, an advanced screening of Origin, Ava DuVernay's new film.
Yep.
Very, very good, by the way. And it's based off of a book, but it's considered an original screenplay because half of the film is also original. So half the film is based off of the book cast by, I forget the woman's name now, sorry. But then the other half of the story, in fact, probably over half of the film, is based off of the life of that woman and what kind of got her into the journey to writing that book that the half of the movie is based on. And the WGA said, well, we can't do half and half, and it's more original than not, so it's an original.
They nominate it for both.
I don't think it's going to get nominated, sadly, but
okay. But Barbie for best original.
Past Lives.
Good. Yeah, I think that probably deserves it.
It should, and I think it will. The Holdovers.
Not shocked at all. I think we're going to be talking about the Holdovers a lot tonight.
Yes, we will be. Anatomy of a Fall and Maestro. I think those are the picks for original at the moment.
Interesting. Okay, so adapted. Oh, and I don't think I said, when we're doing these, we're gonna do 5 titles for each category except for Best Picture. We're gonna
Best
go up to
Picture,
10, which is the maximum that they can nominate.
I would pick, as I told you, I'm going to kind of do this on the fly. I like Past Lives being there. I like Anatomy of a Fall being there. I like Holdovers being there. And even Barbie, I think. Assuming that that's the category it belongs in. Again, don't hold me to it, but I did do an exhaustive amount of research when making these lists. Perhaps the only one that I would swap out is Maestro, and I would probably slip in Dream Scenario, personally.
We got a mention of Dream Scenario from Mr. Sibner, who
You know
also
what?
asks, is Maestro considered an original screenplay?
Again, once again, I did an exhaustive amount of research because there's a lot of voting already happening on what people will think is the nominations.
Interesting.
In official channels such as Gold Derby and some other various websites and apps, and apparently both Maestro and Barbie. And listen, this could change between now and when the nominations are announced, or I could have done my research wrong.
Probably not.
But apparently, Barbie and Maestro are being considered in the original screenplay.
Okay,
that's what I've discovered upon my research. I'm actually saying that I would swap out Barbie now that I think about it. I would keep Past Lives. I would keep Holdovers. I would keep Anatomy of a Fall. And instead of Barbie and Maestro, which perhaps aren't even in that category, we'll see, I would put in Dream Scenario and Beau is Afraid. That's what I'm saying right now for my personal list.
I feel like a failure because I meant to watch Beau is Afraid about 2 months ago, and the hard part is there's so many things that I have to watch because I'm working on them or appearing on other podcasts and stuff that it's dictated my watching patterns recently, and I hate that. So I will be doing my best to watch Beau is Afraid over the next couple weeks.
I look forward to hearing what you think. A lot of Holdovers and Anatomy of a Fall love in the chat here.
We will discuss Holdovers quite a bit when we get to some of these other categories.
Yeah.
So adapted. What do you got on your list for adapted screen?
I agree with Cali Kid real quick before I cycle into that. I think because Barbie is, even though it is based on a product, it's an entirely original concept and story. So I think I think that's the biggest reason that qualifies. Okay. Yes. Moving on. Jeremy, did you happen to do any research? Yes, I did, Michael. I think I said it 18 times.
Yes.
Which is why he said that.
Yes.
Okay, adapted. DC is calling a couple out already. I have what I believe will be nominated for Best Adapted is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Given that this is one of those ones that there's no way this is not getting nominated.
Oppenheimer.
Same.
Poor Things. American Fiction, and The Zone of Interest. The Zone of Interest is a little bit of a left wing there, but I have it down in 2 categories that I think it will. There's a category that I don't think it will be included in, sadly, but there's 2 categories I do think it'll be included in, and this is one of them.
Before we get too deep into it tonight, and you don't need to say the titles yet, but are there any that you think are going to be nominated that you didn't like that much?
In this particular category?
No, in any of the ones that we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Interesting. So when we get there, make sure you say that. I'd love to hear that.
Okay. By the way, American Fiction is another one that's in the category of Color Purple and Wonka, of one that I actually have not seen yet, but I am going to the premiere.
I thought you were going to say it's a musical. I was like, wait, Jeffrey Wright starring in a musical?
I love Jeffrey Wright. No, it's in that category of ones that I think will have a little bit of Oscar buzz, including this category that I have not seen yet. I will say I didn't fully dislike this movie, but in regards to what you just asked me to comment on, didn't love Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, really?
I think it's great. It's obviously amazing filmmaking from Scorsese. He always does a good job. The story is important and well told, but the pacing, it just, much like Irishman being 4 hours, this did not need to be 3.5.
No, it clearly did not.
I've talked to plenty of people who said it flew by for them, and I'm happy for those people. For me, I had about a solid hour chunk in the middle where I was like, okay.
See, for me, it did feel like it flew by, but looking back on it, on the way home, I was like, there were 35 minutes in the middle there that I just felt like I was along for the ride,
Yeah.
that did nothing to change the story.
Again, didn't actually dislike the movie. I definitely don't like it as much as a lot of other people that, and reviews I've been seeing on Letterboxd, but yeah, I didn't love it.
We will discuss it more because it will be coming up again tonight many
Yes.
times.
I think for that category, Poor Things, I would definitely keep. Of course, Oppenheimer, yes. American Fiction, I can't comment on because I haven't seen it yet. Zone of Interest, I would keep. I would add in The Killer. So I'd probably swap out The Killer for Killers of the Flower Moon. Well, I guess I'll keep Killers of the Flower Moon. I'll swap out The Killer for American Fiction since I haven't seen it yet. And
I'm going to call it now. I feel like The Killer is going to be very overlooked at the Oscars this year.
There's 3 movies that I think are going to be extremely overlooked at the Oscars this year that I think a lot of people think will be getting a lot. And that's The Killer, Zone of Interest, and Napoleon. I know Napoleon's been getting a lot of crap, including from me. But I think a lot of people also, just given the talent and the director and the scope of it all, expect it to kind of be getting some stuff, and I think it's not going to get much of anything.
I have on my predictions tonight, I'll just do a little spoiler. I have The Killer and Napoleon only down for 1 each, and some of these other smaller films I've down for like 5 out of the 6.
Yeah. Well, now we can move on to stuff that you also picked for.
Yay! Okay, so let's start with Best Supporting Actor. Let's go actor first.
You go ahead.
I will go ahead since I haven't said anything yet. My 5 that I'm guessing so far, and I'm iffy on a couple of these, but I'm going to guess. First, I'm going to go shoe-ins. I feel like De Niro is a clear shoe-in for this one, for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Absolutely.
I feel like Robert Downey Jr. is pretty much a given for this one.
Absolutely.
And then I feel like the rest of these are a little more questionable. So I picked Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. I picked Matt Damon for Oppenheimer just because he is pretty solid in that. And then the last one, this is kind of a wish on my behalf. I want Paul Mescal to win for All of Us.
Would love Paul Mescal, especially since he got that nom for After Sun and didn't win.
Which he absolutely should have won.
Absolutely should have, 100%. I'm mostly with you. We have, you said Gosling, right? Ryan Gosling.
I did not.
Oh. So I'm with you on De Niro and Robert Downey Jr. By the way, I wish this was true. I read this earlier from Zombies Ate My Arm. It's a career-turning role for Glenn Howerton in Blackberry, and I actually love that movie. I don't think it's getting any recognition from the Academy, sadly. I'm sorry to say. DC, I hope that's a joke.
Amber Heard will get a nomination.
All of Us Strangers is really good. I've seen that one twice already too.
Jeez.
So I agree with you with Robert Downey Jr. I agree with you with Robert De Niro. Those are both givens. I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling is a given as well. That's on my list. Unlike your double Oppenheimer nom, this is the category where we often do get doubles, by the way. If you recall, last year we had double from... Oh, no, sorry. Well, the supporting actor, actress in general. Last year we had a double for Everything Everywhere with Jamie Lee and Stephanie Hsu.
Stephanie Hsu, yeah.
This year, I believe our double is going to be Mark Ruffalo and Willem Dafoe from Poor Things.
Ooh,
that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think this is a big question. Big Disc. He says, I wonder if Saltburn will get any knobs. I love Rosamund Pike and Barry Keoghan and Linus Sanger in cinematography.
I would love Barry Keoghan to get nominated. I think he just, unfortunately, given the caliber of that category, does not stand a chance at the moment. Yeah. Sad to say. I love the movie, and I love Keoghan. Kyogen. Josh Hartnett deserves some love. What? Am I forgetting something?
He was in Oppenheimer.
Yes. I almost forgot about that. Glenn going from being ignored by the Emmys to being ignored by the Oscars. Unfortunately, I think so. I don't know about Jeremy Allen White, DC. I don't know how much buzz Iron Claw is getting, if I'm being quite frank. But otherwise, I agree with pretty much the rest of your list from DC. No love for Cillian Murphy? Well, that's Best Actor, and we're getting there.
We will discuss. Anything else for supporting actor?
No, I think we can move on.
Okay, supporting actress.
Next would be actually.
That's right. Yeah.
I would. Robert. I think it's Robert Downey Jr.'s best performance, so I would keep him in there. I would keep Ryan Gosling. I'd keep De Niro for obvious reasons. Mark Ruffalo is so good in this one. This is tough. I would maybe because I would like to include Paul Mescal as well. So I'll swap out Willem Dafoe for Paul Mescal and keep the rest of my list the same.
Nice. Not too bad.
List. Willem Dafoe has a lot of awards. He's fine.
All right. Well, let's have you do your guesses for supporting actress first. And then we'll do your guesses, my guesses, and then your picks of what you would want.
Okay, copy. So for Best Supporting Actress, I have what I think the Academy will nominate. Yes, Charles Melton would be. No, I think he would be supporting for May, December. Ronnie, I think. Best Supporting Actress, I have Divine Joy Randolph for, of course, Holdovers. I have Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, which I haven't seen yet, but based on the film, the content, the buzz, I suspect as much.
Well, and her talent, she has been incredible in everything she's ever touched.
Very true. Also, for all those reasons. Emily Blunt, and Oppenheimer, of course. Julianne Moore in May, December, which I believe is being considered supporting. I don't think we're getting like a double lead type of situation.
Before you reveal this one, we are 4 for 5. Let's see if you can pick the same one I did for the last spot.
I actually went against the grain on number 5. There's I think at least 2 people that are being considered probably higher than this person in this category, but I just kind of went, not only is this somebody that I think deserves it more, but I went off the radar a little bit, and I think they might, I don't know, America Ferrera and Barbie.
She is one that I was choosing between.
Yeah.
So we had the same first 4, and I went with, this is my only pick for Napoleon. I think Vanessa Kirby might get love for this.
Vanessa Kirby in Napoleon, and who was the other one? There was 2 that were I can't think of the other one now. But yeah, that was and Carey Mulligan in Maestro. No, she's lead.
She would be lead, yeah.
Who was the other one? Oh, now I remember. It was her and
you said now I remember that.
I can't think of her name right. I don't know why I'm having such a.
What are we thinking of?
Ferrari, Penelope Cruz. Penelope Cruz and Ferrari. I know. Too many names floating around.
Ferrari is another one for me that I feel like is going to be very overlooked.
Super overlooked, and deservedly so.
Okay.
But I went with America Ferrera.
The 5 for supporting actress that you think should get it. Ronnie said that was painful.
Why,
yes, it was.
Because I couldn't remember Penelope Cruz.
Well, not only that, it was I remember. It was
DC. Oh, DC, Lily would be lead.
Lily is lead actress, yeah,
from what I
sure.
understand. Rosamund Pike would be supporting, but I don't think they're going to acknowledge that, unfortunately. I would keep Divine Joy. I would definitely keep Julianne Moore. Definitely keep America Ferrera. That's kind of a personal pick, anyways. And I haven't seen Color Purple yet. I don't know. This one I would probably keep pretty similar to what it is, actually, off the top of my head. I bet you if I actually sat down and like worked on the list more, maybe I'd come up with something different. But right now, I'm going to keep it the same.
Sibner is asking for Lily Gladstone. Would they go for supporting just to secure a win? I got to be honest. I think she wins for lead. The only one that might come close is Emma Stone.
I think it's going to be a tough battle between those two. But I mean, if they did move her to supporting, then she would secure the win for sure out of this list. But I also think that's a bit of an insult to her.
It's a bit disingenuous,
yeah,
I think, to the film.
I mean,
she is the film. That's the whole
point. I think she'd rather lose it to Emma Stone in lead than win it in supporting, anyways. So.
Okay, so that was Jeremy's wish list for best supporting actress. Do you want to go to best actor or best actress next?
Best actor.
Okay, best actor. So my first, and what's funny is out of these, I've only seen 2 of the 5, and I am just guessing on some of them, and I really want to go. One of these I kind of cheat because I think 2 of them are literally neck and neck. So I'm going to say the first that is an obvious choice here. I think Leo gets a nod, no doubt, for Killers of the Flower Moon.
It's obvious.
I think Cillian Murphy is the other obvious choice. He carries the entire film, and it was that and Barbie coming together. It was the biggest pull of the summer. They're going to nom both of those. No doubt.
That's why. I mean, Barbie and Oppenheimer are like 2 of the biggest noms in all my categories because of that craze that helped. I mean, they're both great films. Oppenheimer a little more than Barbie, in my opinion, but they're both great films. But yeah, I mean, with that craze that happened, the Barbenheimer craze, it's getting them, way more extra buzz than they would have otherwise, certainly.
My next guess, I really think they go with Bradley Cooper here, especially because he directed Maestro as well. I think it's the big time. I don't think he's going to get a Best Director nod. I think he'll get the nom for actor.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a little bit of a spoiler for my choice there. And then the one that I think is neck and neck, and then I'll go to my last one because I kind of want to go in a little rant on that one. The neck and neck one, I think it's really close, and this is my choice for the killer. I think from Fassbender and then Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. I think those are going to be battling out for the 5th spot.
Interesting.
And then the last one, I think it's a really obvious choice to go with Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers.
Yes.
And I really want to remind people that were not around when it came out how much of a societal craze Sideways was. And this film feels a lot like Sideways when that was coming out. And everybody is hyped over it just like they were with Sideways. I think that this is going to be a much more lauded film than people are giving it credit for now, even though it just came out and a lot of people are talking about it right now. They're not talking about it in terms of next year's winning. I think this is going to be a very named film during the ceremony.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with all that. And our lists are very similar. Cillian, Bradley, Leo, Paul, and I pulled a Ronnie and put Coleman Domingo.
I figured that was going to be.
I figure if they're going to give Rustin anything, it'll be that. It's a great performance for, as Ronnie put, a very average film, unfortunately. But my personal pick, I would keep Paul. I would keep Cillian. I would put in Teo Yo for Past Lives.
He's incredible.
My favorite film of the year, and he's incredible in it. I would put in Nicolas Cage for Dream Scenario.
Wow.
And probably for my fifth slot, it would be a toss-up between Michael Fassbender in Killer and Joaquin in Beau is Afraid.
Wow. No Leonardo DiCaprio love.
I like Leonardo. I like Leo. He has a lot of awards. He's pretty much nominated every year for something.
And yet he's won once.
I think he's great in the movie. Again, you know how I feel about the movie. I have to make some sacrifices when I'm making my personal picks.
I get it.
And I'm giving Past Lives the love that I know it won't get. It
Yeah.
will get it in certain categories, but I don't think it'll get it in the actor-actress categories.
And that's the thing. I feel like they wouldn't get it in the actor-actress, but the sad thing is I think it would be a great choice to go for the supporting actor. And I apologize, I don't have the gentleman's name memorized, but
Oh, her husband?
No, not the husband. The love interest from the past, or yes, the new husband. And not the love interest from the past. The husband. He is astonishing in that movie.
Yeah, he's so good.
And
we'll look up his name now. He's so good. I think his name is John something.
I believe so as well. And it was mentioned in the chat.
Yes.
And
John
I highlighted.
Navarro.
Yes, that's the one. He gives a performance that is realistic and very, very human in the way that he conveys emotions. That story I feel like is told almost through his feelings.
Yeah,
love it.
He's amazing in it. Those three as a whole. I mean, really, the whole movie is those three for the most part. A few side characters here and there throughout, but they just all three of them give such astonishingly good performances in this incredibly well nuanced and written script. It's amazing, and that's a writer directorial debut from Celine Song,
which is crazy.
Just like After Sun last year being a writer directorial debut, those two blew me away. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I think Killian's the lock in this one. I think we can both agree
to win.
Yeah, I think to win.
Yeah, I would almost be surprised if anybody even comes close.
Leo will come close-ish, but I think Killian's a lock.
Yeah. Okay, so best actress. You can go first on this one of your guesses.
I picked, of course, as we discussed earlier, the two biggest locks, and the real race will be between Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone.
Yes.
I have Carey Mulligan, who's in the chat with us now, probably getting a nod. I have Sandra Hüller, who, by the way, is also in Zone of Interest, and she's great in that. But I have her down for Anatomy of a Fall, where she's absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
And then I have Margot Robbie for Barbie. That's my 5.
Wow. Once again, we are 4 for 5.
Nice.
I agree with literally everything you said, except for I think because the Academy tends to love musicals.
Mm-hmm.
I think they give it to Fantasia over Margot Robbie.
Mm-hmm. It's quite possible. It was neck and neck for those two for me as the 5th pick. I do want to point out that DC says, I'm sorry, but honestly, I'm not rooting for Oppenheimer. I think Giamatti is beating Cillian. It's very different. Just to clarify, we're picking what we think will be nominated. It's very different for you to not be rooting for Oppenheimer, but realistically speaking, Cillian's going to win.
Yeah.
If we're, and talking about the way the Academy thinks and what the buzz is, I love Paul Giamatti too. So
Stan wants to know, do you think the Academy should release the vote counts?
I don't know if it makes much of a difference. I don't know if I have an opinion one way or the other.
The only thing that I could think is that it would show, which may be a little demoralizing for some of the actors, so maybe it's not a great idea, but this category was a slaughter. This one won by so many.
That's what I think. I think in a lot of ways it'd be a bit more of a backhanded type of thing than what they intended to be.
Yeah, Ronnie, I didn't want to say that, but I agree. I believe that I had already heard that Lily was being submitted for lead actress.
Yeah. So I do think I think Cillian's brilliant in Oppenheimer. Not just do I think he's going to win. I think he's brilliant in it.
I also agree. I think he's great. But I also want to say, Oppenheimer's kind of gone down for me since I watched it. I feel like I respect it less than when I first saw it.
I would be surprised if, not since we moved on to actress, I would be surprised, honestly, not to bash your list, if Margot doesn't get nominated.
To a point, I get that. To a point.
My personal list for that category, I would keep Emma Stone. I would keep Lily Gladstone. A Race Against the Stones, I just realized. I would keep both of them. I would definitely keep Sandra Hüller. And you know what? I'll even keep Carey Mulligan. I will swap out Margot, who I very much love, for Greta Lee in Past Lives, who I think is astonishingly, I mean, you know, because you've seen it. It's both of our favorite movies of the year.
She brings so much empathy to that movie. I love it.
So that's actually my only swap for that category off the top of my head.
Before we go into Best Director, I do want to talk about one other thing, since we've been highlighting Oppenheimer so much. I really want to talk about physical media around Oppenheimer. Have you seen all these articles and all
the
this
4K selling out?
Yeah. So
I told Jack at CD Trader, keep an eye out for the 4K for me so I can swoop in and buy it at a lower cost.
So the biggest thing about this is that it was difficult to find the 4K of Oppenheimer for many days over the last week since it released on Tuesday. And the Steelbook at Best Buy sold out on pre-order. You couldn't find a brand new one anywhere. That was a big deal. But they came out and said, Universal understands that people are disappointed that you can't find this. We're trying to get another print going quickly. And essentially it sold out everywhere. Now, me and someone else that is watching right now, I won't name names, we were talking about how many they thought were printed. And he was guessing a very small number. And I said, no, it has to be at least 3 or 4 times that. I saw Bill Hunt from the Digital Bits in the comments found out that just Amazon US had 25,000 copies of the 4K that were sold in that first week, and then their stock was gone. So that means throughout Amazon, Best Buy, the Steelbook, Walmart, Target, and everywhere else, just in the US, there was likely somewhere between 45 and 50,000 copies printed.
Yeah, easily.
And that means of a brand new 4K film, we have witnessed a title selling probably 50,000 copies of a film in the first week. And in a year when we have had, Disney pulling out of Australia, we've had Best Buy announce that they're pulling out of physical media as a whole.
I was just about to comment on that. Them selling out that Steelbook on pre-order is like, it just is like, well, change your mind.
Well, the funny thing is that happened like 4 or 5 times this year.
Since they've made that announcement.
Oh, no, not since, but just the year as a whole. And yes, Craig is right. Nolan, coming out and making an article saying, people, please buy the physical discs instead of, letting streaming win, whatever, probably moved the needle a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is that it's a Nolan film. I think people are going to go buy a physical disc of a Nolan
film. It's a beautiful film that needs to be seen in 4K if you're going to watch it at home.
Right.
And it's just pretty much one of the most popular films. Again, it goes back to that Barbenheimer craze. I mean, but great. It's good. It's good for us. It's good for us physical media lovers.
Yes. I really want to just really call attention to that, because this is a big deal and it got a ton of bonus features and it's a great looking disc. Beyond happy to have it on 4K. And now we are seeing like a studio scramble to print physical media. And in 2023, that's a goddamn win. That, like, the easiest way to say this is that it is an exciting thing to think about. I know that it's odd because people didn't believe it. They thought it was I've seen a couple of people say it's a publicity stunt. How is that getting them publicity to not have physical copies? That's not a publicity stunt.
Yeah, who wins? Who wins in that scenario?
That makes zero sense whatsoever. The studios did not want to do physical media. Like most of them would love to get out if we could give them the chance to.
As many people were saying in the comments, I'm mostly stoked not just to watch the film again in 4K, but the extras. 3 hours of bonus features.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal. I really wish that they do well on this next printing too, and we see it do super well. Yeah, just wanted to highlight that real quick.
That'd be a fun cover, Carrie. Maybe an alternate cover of Florence Pugh and Killian just sitting naked in those chairs across from each other.
And then they'll censor it at Walmart again. Okay, moving on to Best Director. You want to go first on this one? Or you want me to?
You go ahead, and then I'll go first for Best Picture.
Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb. I think 4 out of 5 here are a shoo-in. I think we have one that is up for debate.
Yes, that's correct.
I think that we might align on all 5.
Okay,
so I'm going to say Best Director. First one that's obvious, we're getting Christopher Nolan. That's without a question.
Yeah.
Second one that's obvious, we're clearly getting Scorsese.
Yes.
Third one that's obvious, with all the attention, you have to get to Greta Gerwig.
Yes.
Fourth one, with all of the love going to Poor Things, you have to go to Yorgos Lanthimos.
That's very deserving.
Those are the main obvious choices.
Yes.
I think the last one, because of the love of his previous films, I think it goes to Jonathan Glazer.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a category where we are 5 for 5, my friend. Yes, earlier when I mentioned the 2 categories where I felt we would actually get some zone of interest love, I believe it is in those 2 categories, which are adapted screenplay and director. And I really hope that's accurate. I don't think it's going to get any love anywhere else, sadly, but I think in those 2 categories, yes. And I think it's deserving, and I hope that happens. And we are 5 for 5 in that category.
Wow. I think that's the first one we matched on, right?
Yeah, the first one we've been 5 for 5 on, yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so since you do your second list, what is your wish list for these 5?
I would keep Nolan. I'd keep Yorgos. I'd keep Glazer.
he sees the Scorsese fans lighting their torches.
Well, I gotta put Celine Song in there somewhere because for a directorial debut, and it's my favorite film of the year. So, do I swap out Greta or do I swap out Scorsese? I don't. As much as I loved Holdovers, I don't think Alexander Payne's directing necessarily is anything to like call attention to necessarily. You know what I mean?
Right.
I of course love Beau is Afraid. There's some great directing in there from Ari Aster. You know what? Sorry, everyone. Nolan, Yorgos, Jonathan Glazer, Greta Gerwig, Celine Song. Mike. Wow. I don't know what else to do.
No Todd Haynes either.
Listen, I love Todd Haynes and I love that movie. I'm a big Todd Haynes fan from day one with him, and I just saw Q&A with him as well. And he was great. Well, yeah. See, thank you, Def Crocodile. I agree. Marty's gotten a lot of love over the years, and I also agree that Killers of the Flower Moon is not his best effort. So that's my verdict. Todd Haynes. I don't know. Yes, Todd Haynes is great, and he's a great. And this is a great. May December is a greatly directed film. There's a lot of shots in here that I really liked from him. By the way. I don't know. I think it's more just the caliber of talent this year. I don't, as much as I love Todd Haynes and I think he did a good job with May December, I don't think he beats out not only my personal 5 that I just said, but then you throw Scorsese on there, then you throw Ari Aster on there, perhaps, or whatever. You even throw, quite frankly, you even throw Emerald Fennell on there for Saltburn.
Yeah, the Ari Aster thing, like, I don't know. I would love to see it. I don't think Ari Aster smells the Oscars for
No,
many, many years. Not just this year, for a long, long time. As long as, and I'm not knocking this at all.
they would never nominate Beau is Afraid for anything, much less director, especially with the caliber of directors we have this year.
Of course, but that being said, what I really want to say is Ari Aster is one of those people that is clearly making films that he wants to make.
Yeah.
And as long as he keeps doing that, he is not going to get nominated because he's a weird dude and he makes weird movies. And that's good. I'm not against that.
I love that about him.
Yeah, and they're not pretentious weird movies. Like, sorry here, it's not Yorgos Lanthimos who makes weird movies that are highfalutin. That is where Yorgos is going to get the love, and Ari Aster will not.
Right. DC is really going against the grain a lot in the comments tonight. I enjoyed that film. I don't think it's getting any love from the Oscars, unfortunately.
Oh wow, May December streams on Netflix starting tomorrow. Nice.
That's right. It does come out tomorrow. DC is against Oppenheimer and against Zone of Interest. Shocking.
Well,
hot takes.
I don't think he's saying that he's against the film Zone of Interest. I think he's saying it's going to get snubbed.
Okay.
Okay. So we are on. Yeah, that's why I didn't say anything about that.
Yeah.
We are on to Best Picture then, I think.
Oh my God. And we're not even 2.5 hours into the stream, Ryan?
Well, here's the thing. There's some of these films we haven't talked about a whole lot. And so I think some of these should get some love during this. And I've got at least one that I think has a weird off chance to be nominated for Best Picture. And I really want to see what you think the chances are of it getting nominated. And I'll make a strong case that I think it will.
I think maybe we have the same off chance one.
Ooh.
Maybe, because I have an off chance one too that I want. That there's at least 2 or 3 films that I think could be nominated over this one, and I was like, I think it's going to be blank.
Interesting.
So we'll see if it's the same. We'll see if it's the same off chance one. You want me to go?
Tell you what, why don't you just go? We're going to go through your list, and if it's also on my list, I will say it's also on my list, and then we'll discuss
one at a time.
One at a time.
Okay. I'm going to go with obviously from like what I think is mostly a lock on downwards. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oppenheimer.
Yes, I think this is a lock, and we should discuss the film for a second because we haven't said a whole lot about it. I think this is
want to do a one at a time discussion or at the end?
Yeah, full blown discussion. So this one, I think it deserves the love.
Can Sir Turkey McStuffins join the conversation?
I think it deserves some of the love that it's getting. I think it's wonderfully shot. I think that it is incredibly acted by Cillian Murphy. I think that it will not have the lasting legacy that it should. I think that the sum of all of its parts are really good, and I would love to see it do well in the long run, but I see it losing some steam.
Interesting. You see it losing steam even after it sold out 50,000 copies on 4K?
Yes, because those people are not voting in the Academy.
I think it is a beautifully shot film, of course. I think the fact that there's zero CGI and it's all practical effects is stunning. Obviously, Nolan always does a good job. There's no doubt about that. We kind of all went in expecting a pretty spectacular film, specifically visually and sound-wise. I think not just Cillian, but the entire cast is phenomenal. Everything from bit parts to our main leads and supporting like Emily Blunt and specifically Robert Downey Jr., who I think is astounding in this.
And
Matt Damon, Rami Malek, who has like fucking one scene that he talks in and 2 others where he doesn't. That's the other thing about this movie. Nolan's using A-list actors as glorified extras through half the thing. I mean, Emily Blunt
and Josh Peck.
Josh Peck, Benny Safdie.
No, that was, I guess you didn't get that. That was a joke about Josh Peck. He's using A-list actors and Josh Peck.
I said something to my friend Sam about that when him and I went to the one PGA about it. I was like, it even made me like Josh Peck a little bit. Emily Blunt is blurry in the background for like the first hour of the movie that she's in it.
Yeah.
It's nuts how he kind of like is like, yeah, you're just gonna hang out back here, and Rami Malek, you're gonna not say a fucking word in like 3 scenes before you finally have one scene. It's something I think only he could get away with. But the acting, yeah, just the acting across the board for me. And most importantly, and this is my biggest takeaway from the film on top of all that, is the incredible pacing of this film. I mean, for me, and I've heard people disagree, and that's fine, because I've heard people say that, like you said earlier, Killers of the Flower Moon fly by for them. And that, for me, this movie moves at such a rapid pace, with some scenes being like less than a minute long, that it's like so much information is flying at you at once that you, A, can't take your eyes off of it, and B, that 3 hours to me felt like an hour and a half personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with the pacing, but they also want to fit so much in this movie.
There's a lot.
You have to pace that quickly. And we'll talk about Killers of the Flower Moon in just a second, because I'm sure that's going to be another lock for you.
Sorry, now my vice president of the Post boss is walking by again and acting very...
Okay.
I wish you could see what I'm seeing right now. Do you want to come in? He just shook his head no.
Second lock for you for Best Picture.
You can see what he thinks is going to win Best Picture. Second lock for Best Picture is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say, I think Killers of the Flower Moon should win for Best Score. I really want to point out, I think the score for this movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I do think this is a lock. It's obviously going to get nominated. I don't think it will win. I don't think it should win. But I also want to highlight, I think it is, in my opinion, and Craig is probably going to jump all over me if he disagrees. I think this is my favorite Scorsese third act in a while. I really love, like,
when you say in a while, how many films do you mean? I'm trying to think if I agree with
like you. 81. I don't know. It's a good question.
It's definitely his best third act, I'd say, within his last 4 films, maybe. I'm looking right now. I think it's a better third act than Irishman. I think it's a better third act than Silence. I think it's a better third act than
Craig does not agree.
Well, Wolf of Wall Street, I would say, is, in my opinion, better. So I would say it's only a better third act than his last 2 films.
Wolf of Wall Street was a better second act for sure. I don't think it's a better third act. But yeah, I think he put the perfect button.
Now we have to do a Martin Scorsese show, apparently.
By act. No, we're not doing that. Okay, so that was Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, third one.
Stan says, so many films I have yet to see. I'm just I wanted to catch up in the comments for a second. I don't know. I disagree, DC. I mean, in this particular film, I think there's a lot of coldness because of the topic and because Oppenheimer as a person
was very cold.
Yeah, exactly. So in this one, and really a lot of the characters are very cold in this movie. So I agree with you in this movie in particular, but I disagree with the coldness and the humanity of his films being lost in a lot of his other films, especially something like Interstellar, personally.
The only film of his with emotion at all is Interstellar? Whew.
Well, ironically, that's the one I just said, but I disagree with that too.
I agree there's a lot of emotion in Interstellar, but the only one with emotion?
Not the only one.
Heck no.
Inception has a shit ton of emotion.
Well, not only that, my favorite from Nolan, The Prestige, has a ton of it too.
Yeah, agreed. DC's really hating on Nolan. First, it was just Oppenheimer. Now he's just
okay. So Oppenheimer and then Killers of the Flower Moon. What's number 3 for you?
Beep boop bop. Let's see. Another lock. Poor Things.
Yep, on the list.
That's on your list too. Anything else you want? Well, you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. It looks delicious is exactly what I want to say. The trailer looks incredible. I think that it is it probably will win one or two things, and it deserves a lot more, but in a year with some of the biggest filmmakers, it's going to get overlooked on some things.
Poor things will, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of big name directors and big name filmmakers this year. Some that I don't think we'll see any nominations for, such as Ridley Scott and Michael Mann. Man, this is the problem with doing the show at the office. So yeah, I agree with Def Crocodile. Yeah, it's interesting because I agree with you about some of the greatest filmmakers, but yeah, I'm now repeating myself because I got distracted by another coworker. But some of them I don't. Yeah, Michael Mann's Ferrari, I don't think is getting much of anything at the Oscars this year.
Cali Kid wants to know which movie do we think Rodrigo Prieto should get a nomination for? Barbie or Killers of the Flower Moon? Which one has better cinematography?
Barbie.
It does. It absolutely does.
Sorry,
yeah.
Okay, number 4. Speaking of Barbie, gotta keep that Barbenheimer craze going. Obviously, it's another lock, I'd say.
Definitely a lock. I think that this is an incredible movie, and one of the biggest things that we haven't touched on tonight yet at all, that set design is perfection.
Yeah, that's why as soon as you said about the cinematography, Barbie Land is just like, I mean, she's already there was that Letterboxd video that went viral with Greta, of course, and I think she's talked about in other interviews too.
Yep.
She's pulling from Jacques Tati, she's pulling from Jacques Demy, and she's just creating this very, and other names that I can't pull off the top of my head, but she's pulling in these influences of the most eye-popping, colorful kind of cinematography
in a Barbie film that started with a 2001 reference.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Honestly, nobody could have made that movie, I don't think, besides Greta Gerwig.
Oh, no.
Nobody could have made it. Certainly nobody could have made it that interesting and that poignant, but much less at all entertaining. But yeah, it does have amazing cinematography, production design, costume design. It's nuts.
I think we're on to number 5.
Number 5. Oh, halfway point. Number 5, I think, is a lock solely based on the director and the content. Maestro.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was all right.
Again, I haven't seen this one, so I'm not going to be able to say much.
I saw it. I thought it was all right. I thought Bradley Cooper did a great job as an actor. Direction's all right. I don't know. I don't feel personally like he does anything super special as a director. I felt the same way with A Star Is Born. I think he's a great actor, and he's great in this. And Carey Mulligan is also fantastic in it. You know me.
Carey Mulligan is always fantastic, and that's kind of like a cheat code.
Even in her 2 seconds in Saltburn, she's great.
Scolder, that's a really funny comment. He says Jeremy's cheating by actually watching all of the films.
Not quite all of them, but very close. Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
There are some things I like. Actually, believe it or not, the cinematography I think is very good in Maestro. This isn't really a spoiler, but they start off in black and white when he's younger, and then get turned into color, and there's some shots that I really liked in there. But something that we've talked about a lot, Ryan, both personally and I think on the show in the past, is I'm not a big fan of the biopic genre because it's just so cliche and stereotypical when you're following the generic beats that we see in every biopic, unless you switch it up nuts, like Oppenheimer. I mean, Oppenheimer is technically a biopic, and it's, Nolan showing, how I'd say even Elvis, even though I didn't like it, at least he's trying to do something different with the genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you just do a standard biopic, as interesting as the person it's based on may be, and as great as the acting may be, in this case it's very good. You just lose me when it's just following these standard storyline beats. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I felt about Maestro overall.
Okay. We are on number 6 then.
You had that on your list too, right?
Of course, yeah.
Number 6 for me is another lock. I think honestly most of these are locks except maybe the final 10th one. Is the Holdovers.
Yeah, that was my next one too.
Yes.
Again, I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna just reiterate what I said earlier about Sideways. Is this feels like it has that ramp up, like trending, holy crap, this title is getting a lot of love right now type of movement like Sideways got.
I agree. And Sideways, I love, obviously, of course, too. Other than Sideways, Alexander Payne is very hit or miss for me, unfortunately, because I really did not like Downsizing, as well as I think one or two other of his movies. But yeah, I mean, he really came through with Holdovers in a big way, and I think that can be a testament to him teaming up with Paul again.
I agree.
You ready for 7?
Let's do 7.
The only one in this category that I have not seen yet, The Color Purple.
This one's not on my list.
Wow. Could be wrong. It's definitely in the race from the research and buzz that I did. It's possible that once it actually comes out, it does terribly and it doesn't end up on this list. But from what I can tell right now, in terms of our predictions, I think there's a pretty good chance of it getting nominated. Based on the source material, based on the content, based on its history, based on cast, Spielberg producing it, etc. But not on your list.
Not on my list. I feel like this one will get overlooked in this category, but will get love in some others for sure.
You don't want to say what you have in place of it yet because you don't know the rest of my list.
Exactly.
Fair enough. I have not seen the movie yet, so we'll move on. I can't comment.
Okay. Let's go to number 8.
I picked it solely out of buzz. It might be this year's West Side Story. I agree with DC. Finally, something DC and I agree on. I do feel that might be what Color Purple is this year.
Sibner says, "Are we just assuming there will be 10? We don't know what they're going to be, so we're just guessing 10."
Yeah, we're doing the max, which is 10. It could technically be less. You're right, but we'll see. Next is what I hope is on your list, and what I think both of us feel should win. Best Picture.
Oh, Past Lives.
Past Lives.
Yes, this is also on my list.
I think this is honestly, and this is probably solely because of the fact that this has more nominations in the category. I think this is sadly the only love Past Lives gets is in this category.
Really?
You didn't mean that in a good way.
About this year's West Side Story. It was a diss somehow.
But it is going to be this year's West Side Story. And I didn't like West Side Story either. Anyways, go on.
We were talking about Past Lives. So
I don't see Past Lives getting nominated in any other category at the moment, is what I'm saying, which is why I feel as though this is the only category it'll get some love. And I think what I mentioned is that it's solely just because the category is extra 10 instead of 5. Had this category been more like 5 or even 7, it's quite possible Past Lives wouldn't have even ended up in this category either. So,
funny enough, I still think it does, even if it's
down to like, well,
if it's anything below 7, I don't think it gets
1, 2, 3,
nominated.
4, 5, 6, 7. Well, yeah, if it beat out Color Purple, which I have above it on my list technically, then yes, it would still fit in at 7. So we'll see.
Okay. That was your number 8, right?
That was my number 8.
Okay, number 9.
You don't want to go into detail about Past Lives?
Oh, well, I did. I thought. I think we might get a chance at Greta Lee getting nominated, like a far outside chance.
Far outside chance.
And then the other thing, it might get original screenplay, but
I did say that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah,
it was on my list.
I don't know.
I think that's a decent chance. Did I have that on my list for original?
I'm not sure. I think so.
I'm scrolling down and checking. I did. Okay, so that and best picture. And honestly, that's fine. I mean, all the actors deserve it, especially Greta Lee. But if it got even just those 2 acknowledgments, I think that's great.
And again, our 3 actors in that are fucking amazing.
Phenomenal in every way.
Okay, number 9.
Oh, DC says, oh, okay, then we do agree. Oh, and he says Greta Lee is going to get nominated. I think that's a very bold statement, but we'll see.
Tough, yeah.
I would love for her to, honestly. Number 9, Anatomy of a Fall.
Also not on my list.
Wow.
But I've not seen it.
There's already 2 that are not on your list. Okay.
Yeah.
It should also be nominated for editing, by the way. It's a fast-paced, mostly almost courtroom drama that just keeps you guessing, keeps you on the edge, keeps you wondering. Brilliant performance from Sandra Hüller. Brilliant performance from whoever plays her son in the movie too. An amazing child actor performance. A great dog acting performance, which you may have already heard about. I remember I saw it with my friend Anthony, and he was just like, he leaned over, he's like, that dog is acting right now. And you'll see what I mean if you've seen the movie or when you do watch the movie. Anyways, I think this is getting a whole lot of buzz, and it's been getting a lot of buzz even straight out of Cannes, I believe, is the one where it really got a lot of love and attention. It was one of the ones I was most stoked to see at this year's Beyond Fest, which is where I saw it early.
Nice.
TC has another opinion on this one. And I guess that's all I'll say about it. And you have nothing else to say because you haven't seen it.
And I know literally nothing about it. So that's probably my problem with not putting it on here. So let's go to your number 10.
Number 10.
Is this the off chance one?
This is my off chance one. So we'll see. So far, you have 2 different than me. We'll see if this is maybe the same one you were thinking of when you said that you had an off chance pick. I put on Air.
Yes. I think this is a very Academy friendly movie.
I think so too.
They love Ben Affleck.
They love Ben Affleck. They love director-actor combos, which is what we mentioned earlier about Bradley Cooper.
They love sports films, which it's tangentially related.
They love ensembles.
Yes, they do. And in a year of like corporate origin stories, I think this is the one that is going to get the only little bit of love.
I went out of my way to add this one, even though, again, I think there are, even with my list that you've just heard all 10, I think there are like 2 or 3 that would easily technically be above it. But I do have a sneaking suspicion that they go the Air route.
Yeah, this would not surprise me at all if it was on their final 10 list, and I genuinely think it will be there.
My 3 on this list that I've just finished, now that we're at number 10, that wouldn't necessarily be locks, even though I'm pretty strongly I'm pretty strong in my suspicions in putting them on this list. But the only 3 that I would say aren't locks are Air, Anatomy of a Fall, and Color Purple, I would say. I think everything else is a lock, in my opinion.
So the other 2 that I have that were not on yours, I think Zone of Interest has a real chance of getting some love here.
That was what I was talking about. I didn't want to say it out loud earlier, but that's what I was talking about when I said I put Zone of Interest in some categories and not others. I feel like it's going to get snubbed for Best Picture. They're going to give it love, hopefully, I believe, in Best Director and Best Adapted Screenplay, but I think it'll just not make it onto Best Picture.
And then if what some of the feedback that I've been hearing is true, I feel like American Fiction has a genuine chance here.
I would say American Fiction has a genuine chance, and that could easily possibly beat out either of those 3 that I mentioned that aren't locks. I think American Fiction could possibly beat out Color Purple, Air, or Anatomy of a Fall, and maybe take that slot for one of those. That's quite possible, in my opinion.
I guess we'll see. We got a couple months left.
Very not too long left. I'm excited. We're getting close.
Well, this has been super illuminating conversation. This has been a lot of fun.
DC Stacy has a lot of comments against what he says they love Ben Affleck so much that they didn't nominate him as a director for Argo, but Argo did get a Best Picture nom, so we're right in the line.
Probably didn't super deserve.
Yeah. I don't feel like air is come and gone, actually. As somebody who's in the union, the guilds out here, I've been getting tons of emails. In fact, to be quite frank, there was a screening tonight with Ben Affleck that I didn't go to because I'm on your show. So it's still getting a lot of attention and a lot of FYC for your consideration, buzz, and screenings and stuff.
Well, speaking of you coming on my show, do you happen to remember what normally happens when you come on my show lately? I don't know what that means.
Is it the Masked Man? Is that what you're referencing?
The Masked Man may want to have a chat with you.
Happy holidays.
You can't say anything back, Jeremy?
How many of your followers actually like this segment of their show?
I do.
All right, go ahead, Masked Man.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Is your name? Can I take a guess as to who the Masked Man might be? I think it's Corey Hart.
How did you figure that out?
It's not Ben Affleck, and that dog was talking in the movie and acting.
Did you see Anatomy of a Fall, Masked Man? Is that why?
Yeah, I saw it with you, remember? Anyways, I usually come here and I have some things I watched.
The Masked Man just gave away their identity. Did you hear that?
Whoa. I said I watched it with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so how did I give away my identity?
Because I used the name of the person that I saw Anatomy of a Fall with earlier.
Oh.
Anyways.
Well, yeah, that's the other one. They don't know which one, Jeremy. It
Okay.
could be anybody. You could go by the name Tony, like the one in Australia.
Is that a microphone? Oh, I didn't see you're wearing a headset.
Anyways,
the hair
I
and
watched
hat.
Gleaming the Cube, and I think I got sold a bootleg by mistake.
Uh-oh.
So, it's not Orbit's fault. It happens. Monster Squad, very problematic for 2023. Got some stuff you shouldn't be saying, but it was Wayne from the Wonder Years, so it's kind of expected. Inheritors, really worth a watch.
Macabro.
And Kino probably doesn't have this on sale, but 2 Days in the Valley.
That's actually really accurate.
Do you have it, Jeremy?
Which one?
2 Days in the Valley.
I do not have that one.
Add it to your cart, even if it's not on sale.
Is that from who?
Kino.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll get that one. That'll help me hit my $50 goal to get free shipping. So thank you, man.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, seen any good, interesting topics on the internet lately?
He wants to talk to you about the Reddit thread from yesterday.
Oh, Masked Man, did you see my subtitle earlier before I changed it to this?
No, I didn't.
You'll have to go back and watch the replay of the show.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
But seriously, though, for the comments thrown around in that thread, I thought was really ridiculous.
In the Reddit thread you're speaking about.
Yes, in the Reddit thread.
Could you say the title of that Reddit thread, please?
Shit, I don't remember.
You
know what? They want to know? Join the Discord. You'll find it.
If you're interested at all in what we're rambling about, join the Discord.
Yeah.
The Reddit topic was, what podcaster or YouTuber physical media tropes are you most tired of?
Yeah. So if anybody wants a fun laugh, then you should go check out that Reddit thread.
And for the record, Jeremy gets called out by name.
Often. So does some of other Ryan's other frequent guests. Right, Ryan?
Yep.
Here's the thing. You can watch various people on YouTube and not like them, whatever. I'm not saying this because I'm on here right now or just anybody's. But no, that's your job, not mine. So everybody here that appears shares their knowledge, are smart at what they know, and they're hardworking at what is involved in everything behind the scenes and what they bring to all of us. And it just really pisses me off when people decide to talk shit about this channel out of all of them. I think a lot of people are just jealous out there, and yeah, it just really pisses me off. It's not good for the holiday season. Some people walk around in axe.
So this is my favorite Masked Man appearance out of all of them. I appreciate that.
It's a pretty good one.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to, done.
If I could piggyback off of you for a moment, Masked Man, I would like to say that I have watched a lot of YouTubers, some out of choice and some not out of choice. I don't know all of them personally, so I'm not going to comment on them. But Ryan,
don't turn this into like a giant compliment fest for me either.
You are. No. Ryan's one of the hardest working individuals I know, and he puts in so much effort behind the scenes on not just this channel, but literally everything he touches. And he's working on he has his hands in so many cookie jars that for anybody to blindly judge him or his work ethic without knowing him and knowing what goes on behind the scenes is just blasphemy to me, and just shows how ignorant they are.
The funniest thing, the topic, all they said about me was like, this guy is too positive, basically. Anyways.
I mean, if you need an asshole, you can just have me appear.
I never thought that'd be an insult. Well, he has an asshole on every Thursday, Will Dodson.
A very smart one. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, again, not trying to say, hey, Ryan deserves all the accolades, puts all the other people on YouTube to shame. But we come here for a reason. We know why his channel does well. And it just really annoys me when some people try to act all high and mighty, hiding behind a username. And, silence since Ryan commented in the thread. I noticed that. And I'm sure you got no feedback.
Nothing at all.
Hopefully
of course.
They watch this episode.
Yeah.
They won't say shit. It doesn't matter.
I don't want to take up too much time, but, I didn't appear for Halloween. Didn't appear for Vinegar Syndrome. That's okay. There's 2024, Jeremy. But here it's already December. So, happy holidays.
Oh, I guess it is. It's December in your next.
It's December where he is, yeah.
And also, I saw D. Sidner's comment earlier about Owen Wilson. Low-hanging fruit attacking someone's looks. You shouldn't do that. But I do love your photography, especially the photo where you captured a red hat being burned. Keep it up.
That wasn't creepy at all.
No. Happy holidays.
Have a good one, Masked Man.
Be well. Thanks, Get safe to your family. Goodbye.
My favorite appearance of you on this show. Have a good one.
Oh, what a fever dream that was.
It's always terrifying, and it's usually upsetting, but this one was okay.
It was wholesome. It was terrifyingly wholesome.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Jeremy, you are a gentleman and a scholar, and I'm always grateful to have you on here. Thanks everybody for hanging out tonight.
Thanks for having next week, back-to-back weeks, my friend.
I know, that's a treat for me.
I love it. I'm happy to be here. This is obviously, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, one of my favorite discussions. So thrilled to be able to chat about it with one of my favorite people on a show with a lot of people who feel the same way as us and participate in the comments. That's always fun too. It was a great show.
Next Thursday is the first Thursday of the month. So that asshole that the Masked Man just referred to and Jeremy just referred to, Will Dodson will be back next week. We are going to be talking about all of these 16 partner label announcements. We're getting Scream Factory or Shout Factory announcements. It's not even Shout Factory anymore. It's Shout Studios. I'm still not used to that. We've already got a couple of those titles leaked, so we're going to be talking about Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny next week. I'm excited for that.
I admittedly am excited about that one, even though
Well, I still wonder if the rumor of a while back was that Aralo had Tenacious D, and they still could in the UK.
That's quite possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like that, because knowing them, they'll put it out. Well, actually, maybe not necessarily, but I would love a hard box release of that from them.
Yes, I don't know that they would, but I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. They could easily get some cool like little treats for that release, though. You know what I mean? Like I can guarantee you, Jack and Kyle would love to contribute some, little goodies and some bonus features.
Or I mean, there's so many like Fred Armisen is in that.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl obviously plays a big part.
Back when that soundtrack first came out, and I have it, but it went out of print really fast. I don't know if you recall the CD. There was a bundle that came with a Pick of Destiny.
Yep.
So it'd be cool if they could throw that into the release too, like an updated version of that, where you can get an actual Pick of Destiny in the box.
It's too bad we've lost a couple of the main people from that movie, but oh shit, Tim Robbins is in that movie too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, Tim's like Jack's biggest mentor.
Yeah, I wonder that kid that was in that. I wonder if he's doing anything else now.
Good question.
Anyways, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been an incredible week. I've got another fun conversation coming out next week on Monday. It is less of an interview. It starts off as an interview, but we are diving into found footage. So look forward to that on Monday.
And then the following Monday
is another interview, and we'll talk about that next Thursday.
Are you gonna drop the name of the person on?
Not tonight, but next Thursday we might. Yeah,
with Will. Okay.
Yes.
I guess I'll have to watch Will to hear about
that. This has been a lot of fun tonight, and one thing that we didn't really do much is we didn't go back into real deep conversation about the sales. One thing I want to say to everybody, which I hate to highlight this again, but I say this every single month when I put this out. The zine is highlighting that people need to be careful, and it's that time of the year that a lot of people make bad choices financially. I'll just want to remind everybody, FOMO sucks. Don't buy things just to keep up with people. What we are putting into this thing is important, but you don't have to buy every release that comes out there. Buy what you want, buy what you can, but if you aren't able to afford it, don't buy it. There's still ways to support physical media without purchasing every single item.
Carey Mulligan. I agree with you 100%. Though it's a really tricky balancing act for us collectors on that, but it's an important thing to keep note of.
And yes, the interview is not with Jeremy Long. The conversation is not with Jeremy Long.
I am not a director as of yet, except for a couple short things. Can I real quick? I know you're wrapping up. I'm so sorry. I forgot something really important that I told you earlier that I would do, and some people probably tuned out, but that's okay. They can see it in the reruns. I want to give a quick 10 shout out to films that I loved this year that were not on my list for. Why you're laughing?
I forgot all about this.
Just real quick, that I think I am a big, I have an indie movie out there. I love supporting indie films. Some of these are not, super duper duper indie, but they're films that the Academy would never recognize. Some of them are definitely films that really flew under people's radar that I think deserve more recognition. And I'd like to shout them out real quick at the end of the show as we talk about things that we think will be recognized for the year. And maybe, hopefully it'll turn some people onto them, and maybe somebody will discover a new favorite film of the year.
Yeah.
I would like to recognize Dormouse is my number one pick. That is one of the biggest hidden gems of the year. I have not seen almost anybody talk about this except a few people in the Discord because they saw my review of it on Letterboxd. I think it's really, really well done. And it's super stylized in the best possible way. And a great performance by Haley Law, who the only other thing I've personally seen are two things: Altered Carbon, the show on Netflix, and one of my favorite movies, actually, Spontaneous. Remember that one? Where she was our lead's best friend. Really, really, really couldn't recommend it more, and I hope people check out Dormouse and give it some more love. I'd also like to shout out Flora and Son is the new film from John Carney, who did Once and Begin Again and Sing Street. This continues his theme of being literally the only director I know of who can truly capture just the power of music in people's lives and how it can connect people in a very unique and binding way. And and it's just a beautiful story with, once again, so much of amazing original music as is in all of his films. I mean, who doesn't love the soundtracks from Once and Begin Again and Sing Street? I still listen to them on a regular basis. Flora and Son is on Apple.
I think so.
Ryan doesn't have.
Well, on top of that, it also has a release, I believe, from Mubi, if I remember.
Already?
I don't think it's in the U.S. I may be wrong, so hold on.
Guess what's going on my Grindhouse order with Coffin Joe? I didn't know that had any kind of release.
Maybe I was wrong. Okay, it's not coming up on Orbit.
Oh, okay.
I could have swore it had a release already. Let me keep going. I'll let you know if I find something.
Third, I'd like to point out is How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is an absolutely phenomenal indie flick that flew under everybody's radar. It came out early in the year and didn't stay in theaters long and was very quickly forgotten. But it's a very beautiful indie gem with honestly a very important message, in my opinion, and also just a great story and great performances. That really
no release of Florence on, by the way. Sorry to cut you off.
That's okay. Not only did you cut me off, but you cut my hopes up.
Good.
Hopefully that'll come out soon from somebody.
His hopes, not the film.
It's like, I guess it's not. Is it not too likely because it's a streaming movie for it to come out on physical? I hope it does get a physical.
Well, other regions might be likely. Like we were talking about, Coda has a 4K release in Italy.
That's true. I'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, good shout outs. Thanks, Cali Kid. Ronnie, How to Blow Up a Pipeline is on Hulu, and I recommend it to everybody.
Damn it, another one I gotta watch.
Okay.
Goodness.
My fourth indie shout out is to Fremont, which is it was literally only playing in one theater, even out here in nice. I'm glad Carrie agrees. It was literally only playing in one theater out here, actually, even in LA, which means that's just how kind of much it flew under the radar. An actor mentioned earlier in the film, in the show tonight, Jeremy Allen White, has a small role in it. Even Greg Turkington from Tim and Eric fame has a uncannily straight role in it, even though he does provide a little bit of comic relief. But it's really a beautiful film about an immigrant who moves to America and is trying to get work. And that can sound, as I said it out loud, like a fairly generic story. But this one is captured very beautifully, both in our lead's performance, which is Anita Wally Zada, as well as the beautiful black and white cinematography. And it's a truly great film, in my opinion, that touched me quite emotionally as a non-immigrant. And I just, even as a non-immigrant, I related to this person's story just kind of through nothing but her emotions alone and how she was kind of feeling moving through life, so to speak. So it touched me. Number 5, I would say, is Bottoms. Not quite an indie as much as the other ones are, but definitely something that is not going to get recognized by the Academy and is flying under certain people's radars. But if you liked Shiva Baby, Emma Seligman's first film with Rachel Sennett, which certainly is an indie, then you're going to love this because it's her same style. It's a completely different film and a completely different genre, but it's undeniably Emma Seligman and Rachel Sennett's voice and tone, and it's just so funny. And Ryan and I saw it together while I was visiting him in Kansas City. And number 6 is what makes, honestly, a great double feature with Bottoms, which is Theater Camp, another hilarious comedy that I believe flew under a lot of people's radars this year. And I believe it's also on Hulu to watch at the moment.
It is, I believe.
Honestly, pair those two together and you're in for a treat because they have a similar style of comedy and a similar vibe. And Rachel Sennett is really good friends with, what's her name? Molly Gordon, who wrote and stars in Theater Camp. Thank you, Deaf Crocodile. Another one we agree on. That was number 6. I'd like to also shout out a little indie film with Jim Gaffigan, of all folks, called Linoleum, that is also on Hulu, I believe, to my knowledge, at the moment, and flew under everybody's radar. And it's like this weird, trippy, it jumps around in time a lot and has some sci-fi elements, but is mostly a drama. It's Jim Gaffigan like you've never seen him before, in my opinion. He actually gives a really, really great performance. There's quite a few other well-known names in it as well, including Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul, and
no way.
Michael Ian Black is in there. There's a few other people that aren't popping up right on the. Anyways, it's really a great, in my opinion, it's a great film that I believe went straight to Hulu or straight to streaming or what have you, and not enough people. It didn't get enough advertisement, but it's a really unique, complex story with a lot of heart that I really liked. And again, a surprisingly wonderful performance from Jim Gaffigan. So I'll strongly recommend. That's number 6. Number 7, I'll say one that we did talk about earlier, which is Blackberry, which both of the performances in that movie are astounding career turners for Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton. It's unbelievable to me how strong those performances are from those two mostly comedic actors, as from what we've seen from them to date, as well as Matt Johnson. If you've seen any other Matt Johnson films, kind of know his humor and his style. Another, by the way, when I was talking earlier about hating the generic biopic, this is another one that turns the biopic upside down and adds some flavor and uniqueness to it that made me really love it. Like I mentioned, Oppenheimer did earlier.
Yep.
So strongly recommend Blackberry. If for nothing else, these career best performances from Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton. And then that's number 7. I'll give a shout out to When Evil Lurks, which is probably
so good,
maybe the best horror movie of the year, but will not be seen by a lot because it A, flew under the radar, and B, is an international film, and those tend typically not get quite as much attention.
Yep.
But I think, as I'm looking at my personal list, I think it's definitely the best horror film of the year.
I don't think anything is real close. Talk to Me is maybe the closest.
I like Thanksgiving a lot in a cheesy kind of way, but it doesn't come close to When Evil Lurks. Was that number 7 or number 8? Let's say 8 because Ryan wants to wrap this up. So When Evil Lurks, strong recommendation. It is subtitled for anybody who's bothered by that, but which you shouldn't be. But it's absolutely phenomenal and goes far beyond what any U.S. horror film would.
Ronnie says AMC just they aired Blackberries, a 3-episode miniseries with added footage.
Wow. I did not hear about that or see that at any of my AMCs, of which I look at
very interesting
almost daily. Wow. If that's not happening anymore, then I'm really sorry I missed that. Landscape of Invisible Hand was very good. I agree. It's the same guy who did Thoroughbreds. It's not quite on my super high up list or in this shout out of 10, but it's definitely gets a recommendation from me. I'll finish up with these last 2. I'm going to say Showing Up, the new film from Kelly Reichardt. Kelly Reichardt's always great, and I think she does get a lot of attention in general, and has definitely a cult following to her name. But in a year where we've gotten, first of all, another one that came out super early in the year and I think was quickly forgotten, and in the year with, like Ryan mentioned earlier, with all these big names coming out with flicks, especially now towards the end of the year, Scorsese, Nolan, Michael Mann, Ridley Scott, etc. I think she's getting buried. And if you like Kelly Reichardt, you're going to like Showing Up. It may not be quite her best, it's maybe not Wendy and Lucy or Meek's Cutoff level, but it's classic Kelly Reichardt, and it's a really good, phenomenal film and a really great performance. And lastly, another one that's on Hulu, and I believe is a Hulu original, that it just warmed my heart. this one. It's not particularly like, oh my god, phone home about it. But I thought it was first of all, it's got a real nice editing style to it. But it's called Rye Lane, which and is on Hulu, and it's a pretty standard rom-com from a outsider's perspective, but it has enough uniqueness to it, again, especially in the style. It's a British film, and I don't know. There was a certain je ne sais quoi about it that really made it stand out for me when I watched it, and because it is definitely an indie film, and I think definitely flew under people's radars. I'm going to shout that one out as my number 10. Those are my 10 indie shout outs.
That is a great shout. I'm really glad that you said that. My indie shout outs are not very indie, so I will keep most of my things to myself because I've not been able to watch a whole lot. Some other things from this year that have been awesome that I really think deserve some love and probably will in some of the other categories. I think Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a beautiful movie.
Yes.
Deserves a nom.
It will win Best Animated, I have no doubt.
God, I hope so. But also, there's a Miyazaki film that also came out this year. So
it's a strong contender. It's really the only contender. Have you seen the reviews for Wish?
I've seen train wrecks that are more nicely put together than some of those reviews for Wish.
Yeah.
I also another animation. In fact, I'll do two more animation. I think Mutant Mayhem was really good this year, and Elemental from Pixar was a nice rebound from some not great Pixar films.
Agreed.
Saw X was a surprise for me this year. I think Knock at the Cabin will never win any awards, but I actually liked it more than most people. I think it was a pretty well made movie. And
agreed.
Yeah, this has been an incredible night. Love movies.
Thanks, Mary. Jeremy is awesome with 3 claps.
At the heart of all of physical media, we have to remember is the art that is within these boxes, and it is all about film.
Agreed.
I appreciate everybody hanging out for the discussion tonight. I appreciate your opinion and your presence in my life. So I love you, Jeremy.
I love you too, Brian. This has been a wonderful discussion about our love of film in all ways, both what we think the Academy will pick and what we kind of love. Finishing off with some passionate indie love. So sorry to make the show go a little longer than when you were planning on wrapping up 15 minutes ago.
This is totally fine, and it's been like 20 minutes, but that's okay. I last thing I will say is Carey Mulligan. I bought Carmen because we've always discussed it. So I'm planning on watching that soon. Can't wait to see
Carmen. I'm excited to watch because I love Melissa Barrera and Paul Mescal, and I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet, but I look forward to checking that one out. Also, Ronnie clarified the AMC cable channel.
Yes, not the theater.
So I'm going to have to look into that for sure.
I would never see a theater showing a 3-episode miniseries.
If they showed them back to back as kind of like a 3-hour thing or something like that.
All right. For Paul, we're going to end with some love like we just did. There we go. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. Have a good one. See ya.